don't give a fuck.
Anyone else want to do this one?
Nope.
I'll do it.
What one are we
right.
doing? I don't understand who we're doing. You just said it's book it time. Who's that? Who's
He's doing
that?
Vader. He's doing Vader. It's time. It's
Oh, that's what it is? I didn't know what
No,
that
it
was.
was. I was thinking like it's clobbering time.
Oh. You can do
Oh,
that.
I didn't know
That's
that either.
No, you didn't.
All right,
was
so I got
very
it. So,
specific.
so,
I was
so I'm
giving
saying
you
like,
guys the
I'm
benefit
saying
of
like
the doubt
CM
of
Punk
knowing your
is clobbering
favorite
time?
wrestler. What? Yeah.
Okay.
What? You say it's book it
It's
time.
booking
Yeah, I was
time.
about to do that. It's bucket time.
Welcome to Book It, a wrestling podcast where we book and revisit your favorite wrestling storylines. I'm your commissioner, High Five Mike, and today I have your GMs, Damone, D Money L.
I smell something cooking.
Prime Time, Trevi T.
What's good?
We're here, George, and Little Fudge.
This shirt broke 2 websites.
Can we start calling George Big Fudge?
George
Here, see, John, you're saying this shirt broke websites, but it's an audio podcast.
It's
The
my
CM Punk.
CM
The
Punk
people
Ringer
know.
tee. CM
The
Punk
people
Ringer
know.
tee. Ain't no other shirt breaking 2 websites.
And the bad guy, Kenny.
Well, it's CBW.
You.
Don't shit.
That
Don't
is
shit.
a one.
Hold on. You know what's crazy? We had 3 viewers on this live, and then as soon as you hit that well, it dropped to 0 instantly. That's the wildest thing.
They couldn't take it. They couldn't take it. They said, "Man, look, that's
They
too much for
nutted
us."
so hard they
Look.
closed their phones.
They said,
Well,
I imagine with a flip phone, like, let me go ahead now.
All right, so
If you're watching us on a flip phone,
Hey, I don't care
you
what you
watching
watch
on a
on.
flip
you
phone.
say
you
that,
watch
but
it.
they have those new phones that flip now.
I knew as soon as I said this that one of you dorks was going to bring that up. We clearly meant the old school track.
no, it's the
I
no,
understand,
it's that
but
BTS
it's
flip
20
phone.
It's
BTS flip
2021.
phone.
Going to the future, we're going back to flip phones.
I'm not.
It's that
I'm
BTS
not.
flip phone.
Eventually,
refuse.
when that
Nope.
when I mean, eventually,
And you
when all
gotta
the
have
companies
it
make them.
Nope.
To record
not
yourself
doing it.
eating the BTS meal at McDonald's and then drive on down to Burger King and get the little Huddy meal. The
They
future
don't
is
have
beautiful.
they don't have the BTS.
I
meal
got the
anymore.
Nelly. I got the Nelly meal.
Who had the Nelly meal?
What the
I
fuck
looked-
is a
Fucking
belly?
Arby's?
It's-
So I looked at those
it's a
meals.
Whopper
I
with
looked at
cheese.
those. I looked at those meals, and they're trash. Like
No, that
gonna
little
give me
Huddy
these
meal's
meals,
hard.
Like the little Huddy one is a fucking chicken with fucking
Or actually,
cheese
you're right.
on
It was the little.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna
why
Why
fucking eat
would
it.
I want to put cheese on a chicken sandwich?
Because I want
It's
it.
not bad. It's not
Wait,
bad.
It's not bad.
Whoa. We're
I
not
took the
skipping
cheese
past
off.
that. You don't fucking put cheese on a chicken sandwich?
Right.
I will. If
I
Lil
took
Huddy
the
does,
cheese off.
if Lil Huddy does, I
Little
will.
Huddy has a fucking bad taste palate, like Kenny.
No,
over here.
if Lil Huddy eats it, I'm eating it.
John, shut up for a second. I'm disagreeing with you. Cheese on a chicken sandwich goes stupid.
No, not doing that. That's dumb.
I took it off.
He said
and
that's
I got it.
That's dumb. That's stupid.
Well, Lil Huddy is dropping bangers and eating cheesy chicken sandwiches while you're eating uncheesy
And
chicken
mozzarella.
sandwiches.
I'm gonna eat just a spicy chicken sandwich. with
From
this.
what? Chick-fil-A?
No, from Burger King.
the
I
hateful
like the
people.
chicken.
The chick
But I'm
bang is
also
pretty
not
good.
trying to get not fries and get just mozzarella sticks.
The mozzarella
not
sticks
fries.
were
Mozzarella
good.
sticks from Burger King are trash.
Yeah, I thought
I
they were
prefer
good.
They're
the
mid.
fries.
They're mid.
Well,
I
their
prefer
fries are
getting
better.
fries.
but-
Y'all
Fries
underrating
are-
them a
fries
little
are-
bit. Burger King does have underrated fries. They deserve some
They
respect.
do.
Jordan,
Nah,
Here's
the
the thing
old
with
I
fries.
deserve some respect.
These fries are trash. The old fries are better.
No, the thing with the Burger King fries is that they can hold up. They're one of the few fries that if you get them and they're kind of mid, it's okay because they were kind of mid to begin with. So like, there's no issue. Like with McDonald's, it's
It's
fresh
either-
or nothing.
Yeah, they're either
With
great
Burger
or
King,
trash.
Burger King, I can take a 30-minute drive home and eat my fries when I get home, and they're still just as good as they were before.
So if you want to hear more about French fries, go listen to Debatable at t13media.com. 2 weeks ago, we had a whole discussion and tournament about French fries.
I was wondering why this was so fresh on my mind.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Book It because that's what we're doing today, and we are doing the third pay-per-view of So the final pay-per-view of the third round, and it's CBW. The so far who's been last place every week.
Not anymore.
Why am I in the middle?
Not anymore,
I don't
motherfucker.
know.
I hate it.
Because who's last in the overall right now?
That's
now.
because you haven't presented.
Say that shit again. Ooh,
Mike,
yeah.
Mike,
We're about
Mike,
to throw
Mike,
hands.
Mike, I got this. Mike, we're on to WrestleMania.
Yeah, we're going to WrestleMania, baby.
No longer poverty, baby.
That's not how that works.
I'm about to buy so many little honey chicken sandwiches with all this money.
Stir that motherfucking pot. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's, if you
Cheesy chicken
haven't,
sandwiches,
if you
yeah.
haven't listened to any of the Book It, and this is your first episode of Book It, you haven't listened to Bookitverse yet, I recommend you to stop, go back and listen to at
recommend
least
you
the beginning
listen
of
to
this
it.
Recommend
I recommend you listen.
Hey
to this
Fudge, you're
episode,
talking about
watch
spinning. You're talking about stirring the pot, but the only one you're stirring it against is yourself.
Why are you going after me, not Kenny? He's doing it too.
Because Kenny isn't.
Kenny, I don't give two fucks.
Kenny's
said
been,
I'm on the pot too.
throughout all this, I
We
would
can't
say
break Kenny.
Kenny's been the only one who's been fair and actually giving.
And
an
how you
accurate
repaid
assessment
him. And how you
entire time.
repaid him.
We can't break Kenny. We can break you.
You ain't
Kenny's
breaking
the
me
only
again.
one I feel like hasn't taken.
We had Damone sounded like Tucker Carlson last week on air. Like, he was like, so, in the case of The Undertaker being missing on our pay-per-view, in
He
favor of
wasn't at.
Sting.
He was around. So and that,
Anyway,
It's so crazy to
As
hear
we
all
said-
these
as we
poor people
said.
talking around me.
as we said, we're on to WrestleMania.
so we're gonna go ahead.
Wipe on Travis, fuck him.
Who's going first? Who's going
Because
first?
I got a fucking 3.94 overall this week, bitch.
I'll start.
Still lost to
George is going to start us too. I guess he's pretty angry for no reason. So
George
sorry
is
about
pretty
him.
angry today.
He's just pissed
Damone,
off for no
Damone,
reason, man.
let's just remind you that you have the bottom two matches and
And
the
one.
worst rated show.
Woo!
2-1. 2-1. 2-1. At worst, 2-1. 2-1. You have 0 victories as of right this second.
Me?
Talk
Me?
your shit, Damone.
Yeah,
Talk
you
your
have
shit,
0
Damone.
victories.
I beat you.
Damone.
I'm already ahead
Best
of you.
case scenario, you got
Yeah.
one.
But
Talk your
All right.
shit,
best
Damone.
case scenario, you never know. They could come out
Hey,
and fuck
hey,
around and get a
hey.
4.
Let's see who gets the chip.
They
You
could
know what?
fuck
see.
around
Because
and get a
Travis
4.
talking all that shit, I'm giving this one to 5. I don't care what it is.
Let's go. All right. I'll just
You're
skip it. I'll just
welcome,
skip
You're
it.
welcome, John. John, transfer that money to my account now.
Anybody but him. Anybody
See,
but him.
collusion.
Hey, if you want to do that, we can just skip this match and go forward.
Let's just go. Let's
All right,
hear
all
it,
right.
John.
So here's our just for a little bit of context. It's not a video package or any background stories. I'm just gonna say this is only 2 months after In Your House, rather than the usual 3 months for a big 4. The only pay-per-view between this was Cyber Sunday, which, as you know, and which some listeners might not recollect. George, shut up.
Being pretty
That
He's
that
excited.
fans get to vote for different stipulations or wrestlers for certain matches at Cyber Sunday. So fans were going to be in control of the last show between In Your House, and today we present Asylum from the Barclays Center in New York.
I'm mad that as a fan, I didn't get to vote for that pay-per-view. So
Well, it's not one of our main ones, so you weren't there. We didn't sell that many tickets. So our first, and we all know those votes were worked anyway. So our first match will be the,
Screaming
oh my God,
CBW.
George.
Yeah, say George
Yes.
is being very
CBW.
loud.
I'm about to,
He's chanting
I'm about-
CBW.
yeah, I'm about to almost let Kenny take this match while I go deal with him.
Yeah, you might have to.
Kenny, you take this match.
Yeah,
you
I
take
got
this match.
Because this is not good for an audio platform.
I know. I'm so sorry. This man is wild.
He's excited. All right. So, like it says, 2 months after In Your House, Cyber Sunday was in between. It is now Asylum in the Barclays Center in New York. So we start off like this. Trump and Knoxville's clash for leadership lead to last month's pay-per-view, Cyber Sunday, where both lost their power, and the fans got to book the matches they wanted to see. One of the matches this led to was John Morrison getting his one-on-one rematch with RVD. He won 72% of the votes, destroying Will Ospreay and Keith Lee in the polls. Ospreay calls for his decision to be overturned as Morrison hadn't had too many opportunities. Morrison asked him who got pinned in the triple threat at In Your House. The tension builds between RVD and Morrison as they fight over a pin in the tag match main event on Turmoil against Kendrick and Lee, causing RVD and Morrison to lose. RVD's promos present Morrison as a choke artist who needs to move on, while Morrison's promo suggests that he has RVD's number and RVD knows it. Morrison finally beats RVD at Cyber Sunday to a standing ovation where he dives into the crowd with the title. After Cyber Sunday, Morrison is saying he wants to not only be a fighting champion, but a champion that elevates the company through movies, talk shows, and social media. Trump comes out and says, while this moment is sweet, he thinks John Morrison has a lot left to prove to him and the audience. He announces the next show, Asylum, where John Morrison will defend his newly won championship in the Elimination Chamber and will enter first. The other competitors will be decided by qualifiers over the next 3 weeks. Kenna beats Homicide. Will beats Shane Helms. Sammy Guevara beats Sanjay Dutt. The last 2 qualifiers show Tommy Dreamer getting squashed by returning Samoa Joe and RVD losing a close match to Keith Lee, where he had put his rematch on the line after Kendrick's trash talk. At the Go Home show, a brawl breaks out on the ramp, ending with Morrison doing a corkscrew moonsault off the stage onto all of them. Okay, so if you don't know, gotta do the attires. So Will Ospreay comes out in all blue tights. Kenna comes out in yellow and brown trunks. Sammy comes out in black and yellow trunks. Keith Lee comes out in blue trunks. Samoa Joe comes out in green and black shorts, and John Morrison comes out in red. Okay.
What championship is this? Because you haven't said it yet.
It's the TV championship.
So this is the TV title.
Okay.
Sorry, I said that before George started popping off at the beginning. Okay. My bad.
So Samoa Joe has a stare down with Keith Lee. Crowd's going crazy. They get into a forearm smash battle. Ends with Joe doing an enziguri. Sammy Guevara comes in next. He runs in the ring excited, but Keith Lee runs and bounces off the ropes and hits him with a pounce. Samoa Joe belly-to-belly suplexes Sammy Guevara out of the ring and onto the chamber. Will Ospreay comes out next. Ospreay runs and is hit with a back body drop that sends him out of the ring by Keith Lee, but Ospreay lands on his feet. He turns around real cocky, but is met with a suicide dive from Lee. John Morrison comes out. Ospreay hip tosses Sammy, and Sammy's legs wrap around Morrison's neck, and Sammy turns into a head scissors. At this point, Kenna comes out next. Kenna hits Sammy with the key lock combo, followed by GTS. He pins him. 1, 2, 3. Sammy's eliminated. Kenna DDT Samoa Joe on the outside. At one point, Morrison climbs the chamber all the way to the top. He swings his body back and forth and hits a shooting star press off the top onto Will Ospreay. Morrison hits Kenna with the flying chuck while he's landing against the chamber, then knocks him out. Morrison goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Kenna's eliminated. Ospreay does a token hilo on Keith Lee. While they're both laid out, Morrison on the outside does a Starship Pain off the ropes and lands on both of them on the outside. He goes for the pin on Joe, but he kicks out at 2. At this point, Ospreay goes for a dragon suplex, but Samoa Joe turns into a snapmare, then does a running front drop kick. As Ospreay gets up, he goes for a lariat, and Joe ducks, then puts him in a coquina clutch, and Ospreay ends up tapping. So at this point, Keith Lee goes for a lariat on Morrison, but Morrison ducks. Excuse me. Lee quickly turns around and does a lariat to the back of his head. So it's just real quick. So he goes like this and ducks under and then comes back around with the lariat to the back of the head. Morrison starts to get an adrenaline rush from the crowd, which gives him a little more energy. He goes for a flying chuck, but Keith Lee pounces him out of the air, and he ends up getting the pin. 1, 2, 3. So John Morrison is now eliminated. Keith Lee goes for a spear at this point, but Joe moves out of the way, and Lee goes through the glass. Lee gets up to reveal his face, and he's a bloody mess. Lee goes for a belly-to-belly suplex to Joe and throws him against the chamber. He picks him up again and uses the last of his strength to belly-to-belly suplex him through the glass. Joe is laid out. Lee is crawling through the glass to go for the pin. 1, 2. He kicks out at 2.9 with a surprised look on his face. Lee can't believe it. They end up back in the ring. They get into an elbow smash battle, and Lee goes outside of the ring, goes out of the ring. Joe goes for a suicide dive elbow that sends Lee into the chamber. Joe goes for a lariat, but Joe turns it into an exploder. Wait a minute. I read that wrong. Yeah, Joe goes for a lariat, but Lee turns into an exploder that lays him out. Lee crawls over to pin him, and Samoa Joe kicks out. Samoa Joe is resting against the chamber at one point, the chamber door, and Lee goes for a pounce, but Joe moves out the way, and Lee breaks the door open with this pounce. At this point, they both end up climbing the chamber, so they go to the very top of the chamber and get into an elbow smash battle up there too as well. So they're just going back and forth doing that, and the match ends when Keith Lee tosses Joe off the top and through the announce table. The crowd is chanting "Holy shit" as EMTs come out and the refs call the match. Lee is the winner due to knockout.
Who wants to go first?
I'm not going first.
I'm not either. Mike, you're up.
All right. So the build was about Morrison, right?
Partially so, because the first month.
That's
definitely,
mostly what I heard about was Morrison. I heard Morrison coming
I agree.
out saying he wants to be a fighting champion.
Yeah, him and
he's the
RVD was
one-
that first month. Correct.
So I felt like I heard a lot about Morrison.
Correct.
He's getting the TV time.
Yeah, he's the champ.
We're opening this pay-per-view with the Elimination Chamber.
Gotta start with a banger.
They're doing that. I will give them credit that they got around the
They're
no
doing
steel cage
lockdown.
thing, and they're doing, they're using the elimination chamber instead of the steel cage is a good idea. I give you, you're getting a stimulus for that.
Let's go.
Yeah, look at the match.
This is not the only elimination chamber match, so
It's not.
I think with the story that was built at the beginning, with what I felt, I feel like the wrong person won.
You feel like Morrison
Because
should have retained?
I think John with what was I think John Morrison should have retained. I think John Morrison showing he was a fighting champion, going through all that would have made more sense than Keith Lee winning. Now, if you would have had some more there, you talked about there was before lacking builds and stuff like that, John. I want to say this was lacking that build. This was a straightforward build. Don't get me wrong. Like, this was a straightforward build. But that doesn't mean it wasn't lacking. It was ABC, here's the match. And then somebody who I felt was just mentioned won.
yeah.
I didn't-
Can I give an
so-
explanation as to why Morrison didn't win?
Sure.
Because like the point of the matter was that he was put at a disadvantage. He's a babyface who's been working for a while to get that championship, and then Trump kind of comes out and says, "You're entering the hardest match against 5 top talents, entering first." And then there's a curveball of you expect RVD to be one of those people because he gets a rematch clause. We do rematch clauses, and then Keith Lee works his way in that spot, and that makes the match even harder. So
And then
it's supposed to be
Keith Lee's been billed as a monster this entire time too. So he's just been destroying talent left and right. Like he already destroyed Brock Lesnar and a few others along the way as well. So he's coming in here as the monster. So he's like the dangerous one.
It's a heartbreak is what it's
So,
supposed to be. You're supposed to feel bad for John Morrison. You're supposed to feel angry he didn't win because he was the person that you were rooting for. And then he had it taken away from him in an unfair circumstance because there was no reason for him to enter first. He was just chosen to do that.
I feel like with your explanation, your first half of the explanation, I still think that the wrong choice was made.
That's fair.
I do think that John Morrison should have won this. It should have been his story of being a fighting champion.
That's fair.
Personally. So I'm going to go ahead. I didn't hate the match. I thought the story was lacking. I think the wrong person won. I'm going to go with a 4.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate your input.
I have a question.
What's
Mhm.
that?
Is Samoa Joe a heel or a face?
He's a heel.
And then Keith Lee's a heel too, right?
Yeah, Keith Lee.
Correct.
Keith Lee is he's the monster heel on our brand.
Yeah, him
Okay.
and Brian Kendrick are the biggest heels. Samoa Joe, he might be leaning towards the middle because you kind of don't know really because he just came back from that injury. So he came back after being gone.
So
Yeah, technically he's a tweener. He's not really heel. He's really more of a
because I
tweener.
was gonna say if he's just coming back from injury, he's probably gonna get a pop.
Yeah.
A couple of things I didn't like. I don't like that you just eliminated RVD from the title picture entirely. Like you said, he has a rematch clause, and so he should have just automatically.
Yeah, he put it on the
been-
line because you know that thing where Brian Kendrick does to manipulate where he'll talk his shit backstage and cause problems. He did that to RVD so that he would get Keith Lee a shot into the match, and then Keith Lee won.
That explains it, but he didn't say that in the bill.
I did. I said it, but I probably could have phrased it like a different way because I said that Kendrick's
didn't
trash
hear that.
talk led to a match where RVD put his rematch clause on the line and lost.
I feel like I
Okay.
didn't hear that either. So
Oh, it is. I can show you where we wrote it, but
Again,
I
to
could have
me-
phrased it better.
to me,
Okay.
again, I felt like the whole thing. Like I heard more about John Morrison than anything.
I also agree with the Morrison point. So I think I would have been okay with Morrison losing if he was the second to last, if he was the runner up. If he wasn't just like because he loses and then it becomes a one match against with two heels essentially. So him losing that early felt like he either needed to have him lose right away, which would have been shocking, or have him lose at the end.
I don't
also
even think right away. I think
right away would have
the
been
only right thing.
at the end would have been the perfect way. Right at the beginning would have been not great, but would have been better what you did than what you did.
The shock value.
Well,
Right.
I mean, we try to go for the shock value by having him lose second to last, like it. So I just did that way instead.
And
So-
to show how far the deck is stacked against him because he is in a grueling match with
But I
top
think you could
talents.
But I think that
I think you could've-
babyface build would have been better if he
you could've-
was.
Right, you could have had him
second to-
second to last. He almost every time he almost does it, and then Keith Lee beats him in the end. So you get that hope because once he's out of the match, if I'm a fan of faces, I don't care anymore because it's just two heels facing each other. I'm not going to root for either of them.
Yeah,
I feel you, but it's one of those times where like because he went for the flying chuck. So he went for that, like, but he pretty much got taken from him. He went for flying chuck and then got hit out the air, and then he got pinned. It's like a surprise attack for him.
I also don't like the finish. I don't like that you had an elimination chamber end on a TKO.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a 3.5.
right.
I agree with Mike that I think the build was slightly lacking. I think that
Remember your money in the bank, Travis. It was a multi-man match. There's only so much you can do. So I was thinking of your ballpark on that one. And this division is more wrestling oriented.
Okay, just let me get through my things.
Okay.
I promise you don't need a defense attorney for this. So, because you're end up talking.
Cochran's ready,
and you don't want that.
Okay. I don't got them Robert lawyers.
I feel like that, like I said, the build was a little bit lacking. I just lost my. Oh, Keith Lee winning was a little bit, in my opinion, was a little bit predictable. As soon as I heard he was in the match, I knew he was going to win because I knew you guys were going to build to the Brian Kendrick, Keith Lee having the two titles and being dominant. I don't like the TKO finish, but aside from those three things, and honestly, they're not huge complaints on my end. I'm going to give you a 4.5.
Let's go. I'll take that. I appreciate it, Travis. I appreciate your input.
So wait. So if I say something right now, you ain't gonna take no points from me.
Kenny, don't say it. Just hold it back.
There's no.
Just shut up. Just shut up.
I'm not giving you any point or taking any points away.
I'm not gonna give you.
I'm not guaranteeing anything.
Okay,
Shut up.
I ain't
Shut
gonna
up
say
and
it.
take what we got. Don't pull a me.
I was gonna say something.
I still be fucked up somewhere.
Oh, it was big too. It was big. I realized.
Now I want to know. I won't take it.
I gotta have that.
Something got fucked up. Something got fucked up. It's already not in the build, so we can't take points off of something that didn't happen. He already gave whatever he said is canon.
Right.
So this is like an alternate universe shit. We can't.
I'm assuming it was something.
Can I say what I say without losing points?
It's something in the match because he doesn't do the build. He does the matches, so he must have eliminated someone when he wasn't supposed to.
You want to hear it? Like say,
yeah.
You know what? Yeah, give him the moment. Give him the moment.
Right?
Sure.
Confidentiality. Under the table.
I'm not going to take anything off.
I'm not gonna
okay, Mike's on it too. Okay, say it.
Okay, the funny thing is, we said his punishment was he's supposed to fight first. That nigga did not fight first. And I didn't realize it because when I was making the match, I didn't realize it. It starts off with who was it? Samoa Joe. Yeah, Samoa Joe and Keith Lee. I start off saying Samoa Joe has to stare down with Keith Lee. And I forgot. He was supposed to start.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to lock that shit in before you said that.
I almost asked you what the order was, like of entrance and elimination. I almost did.
We can't be running that sloppy shot.
I read it, made the
Thing
match,
for
and then
you,
like
didn't.
I didn't think about it, so I reread it like for y'all, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, I fucked it up.
Kenny, while I'm doing this next match, you better go check the other one.
Yeah, I was like,
All
shit.
right. Are we switching?
If I would have caught that, that would have dropped y'all to like a 3.5.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It was a big thing. That's
yeah,
why
that's why I was telling you to shut up.
I'm gonna tell him. Cause like, I mean, that's how I was
Yeah,
to make
yeah,
sure.
it's
Like,
funny,
hey,
but
we're good.
hey,
I'll
He's
tell you.
gonna
Get your
always
money.
go back and listen.
But you know who will catch that?
Oh fuck!
Because he's not live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
not
we
sports.
should have
it's all
shut our
good.
asses up.
And he would have caught it. He would have caught it either way. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the key thing to catch.
Yeah,
Like,
Keith does be catching the
man-
weird stuff. All right,
Also,
so
he'll catch the 2.9 thing. He's gonna. Keith, you better ding them for that because you dog God.
this next match, Mike's favorite, CM Punk will face AJ Styles. And here's the bill. My ring light is
did we not have this match already?
No,
No,
we had
we haven't.
CM Punk interrupt the championship scramble and
Oh.
cause AJ to lose it.
Right.
That feels
okay.
like it was 6 months ago, to be honest with you. This is crazy.
So
Yeah, I mean, it was like, what was it?
A
4
month
weeks
ago?
ago? It was, it's
Yeah.
4 weeks ago.
Yeah, because we missed a week in there.
after In Your House, when Punk inadvertently caused AJ to lose his title, AJ called Punk out to ask him why he did what he did. Punk claims innocence in the matter. The only AJ he gives a shit about is his ex-wife. Well, the only AJ gives a shit about less is his ex-wife. Shout out to Alpha Championship. However, he says if he must be honest,
Pandering.
he's glad he left his seat and accidentally cost AJ that match because AJ is nowhere near close to the best this company has to offer. He says he's never liked AJ. He sees someone that has had to have 3 different companies dress him up and put him over to make him a real star, whether that's in a knockoff robe or a fog machine or that stupid sleeveless hoodie. All Punk ever needed was some basketball shorts and a microphone.
Well, that's
He tell-
bullshit.
He tells AJ to focus on his rematch with Brian Kendrick and having another forgettable reign because he's not on Punk's level, and him pretending to be is getting annoying. After he says this, AJ slaps Punk in the face and leaves the ring. The following week, Punk is on his way to the locker room and is being approached by Kendrick and Lee, who thank him for his contributions. Punk says he didn't care about that match or about Kendrick. He got up because he was bored. He tells Kendrick he'd kick either one of their asses, but AJ is trying to reach your high score on making enemies. The camera cuts away to AJ down the hallway, who sees Kendrick walking away from Punk as he goes into the locker room. That night, AJ cuts a promo saying he saw Punk with Kendrick, and he's not going to hear Punk lie to him again. Sorry about my ring light. He's not going to hear Punk lie to him again. Punk comes out and says he didn't care about the stupid match or AJ's mediocre title reign ending. AJ drops his mic, but Punk kicks him in the head and hits him with the GTS. The show starts off next week with AJ cutting a promo about a deck stacked against him and all he has to overcome. Trump comes out and says the fans are the dealers for this game, as they get to choose a special referee for his match with Brian Kendrick between Donald Trump, Johnny Knoxville, and CM Punk. Punk narrowly beats Knoxville in the polls, and during that match, AJ does CM Punk's taunt with the hands like a pillow before the GTS, and he hits Kendrick with the GTS. AJ goes for a pin, but Punk is slow to get down and count the pin. AJ gets up and shoves Punk. Punk shoves him back into Kendrick, who rolls him up while Punk does a fast count for Kendrick to retain. After Cyber Sunday, Punk comes out and says this time he did screw AJ. He didn't do it because he liked Kendrick or had stake in the title picture, but more because he's always had a problem with AJ, and AJ has begged for a fight with him. AJ will do anything to get attention. He'll turn on his friends, he'll put his family in danger, and alienate anyone to get the attention he craves. Well, AJ, after a month of bitching that you couldn't win your match, you got my attention. AJ rushes the ring, double legs him, and wails on him. Punk escapes, calling AJ weak-minded. Punk is backstage with Gottfried, who asks how he plans to respond to AJ's attack on him the previous week. Punk says the downfall of AJ's career began when he turned away from his title match to pick a fight with him. Rather than learning, he did it again. It will be my pleasure to put the final nail into AJ's coffin at Asylum. Oh, sorry, notification popped up. At Asylum. Damn it, I lost my place. Okay, AJ Styles, you got my undivided attention. 1-on-1. During AJ's match that night, Punk rushes the ring and the fight spills out into the crowd. Punk gets the better of it with a kick down low, lifts him up for a GTS, and then drops him onto the stair rail instead of his knee. Punk puts his foot on the chest of AJ and flips off the fans. The final week before the show, Mr. Kennedy hosts a contract signing for Punk versus AJ. AJ says Punk is everything he hates. He's everything he's accused Steve Austin of being. He's a diva. He's a politician. He's secretly face deep in corporate ass. He's out for money and power, just like them. That's why he went to the UFC for a quick buck. You broke through saying not to let the tattoos fool the fans, but they did. CM stands for corporate machine. Punk steals the mic from AJ and says that AJ's actions come from a place of desperation. You want to be what I am so badly that you gave up your title to chase my ghost. Instead of listening to reason, you followed your massive ego and it led you to an obsession with me. AJ Styles, you can't dress up as someone who changes the business. You are just another guy. You'll be just another former champion rehabbing his reputation after losing your title and your dream. Kennedy facilitates the signing of the contract and asks them to shake hands. AJ pulls Punk in firmly, but Punk headbutts him and hits him with the GTS. He puts the clipboard down on his chest and the camera shows him standing over AJ. For the attires, AJ is wearing his black and green tights, a la his match with Randy Orton. Punk is wearing his yellow trunks with black and white, classic. And here comes some of the match. So the match starts with a collar and elbow tie-up until AJ elbows him in the face. Punk rakes the eyes and does an enziguri. Punk hits a Uranagi into the Anaconda Vice, but Styles uses his legs to get him in a leg lock. Punk kips up out of it, runs at him, but AJ drops to the floor, skips over him, and when Punk goes back, AJ hurdles him. And then when he comes back, he hits him with a drop kick, pops up with a phenomenal taunt while walking towards the ropes. Punk later in the match hits him with a big buckle bomb into the corner, does a slingshot crossbody to AJ to the outside. So the Punk then does the Pepsi twist lariat. Styles hits his styling DDT. Punk hits a big roundhouse kick. Styles eventually does a Fosbury flop to the outside. Styles hits a Muda lock. Later in the match, Styles hits a Pele, runs to the ropes, gets onto the apron. Punk pulls up his elbow pad like he's getting into Phenomenal Four. He springboards, but Punk rolls forward to evade it, and then does a running calf kick. He picks him up for the GTS, but AJ rolls out and goes for a schoolboy. Punk kicks out at 2. Punk does the Shining Wizard into the corner and acts like he's going to bulldog, but mocks the crowd with a finger waggle, like he's not going to do that. And then he hoists him up to the top rope and hits a big Pepsi plunge. Punk then does his springboard clothesline. AJ later goes for the calf crusher, but Punk gets to the ropes. Punk hits a double underhook backbreaker. Styles hits a discus lariat. Styles goes for the spiral tap, but Punk gets the knees up. Punk does a hurricane run off the top rope. And AJ later hits a successful Styles clash, hits a springboard 450 splash, and then gets the pin for the 1, 2, 3, proving he is the better man than CM Punk.
I have a question.
What's that?
Which one is the face and which one is the heel?
AJ is the face. Punk is the heel.
I feel like I realized it because they made AJ. I feel like the build made AJ seem like a bitch. I'll just straight up like it just felt like AJ was made out to be a bitch.
Babyface AJ Styles is known to make some pretty dumb decisions. If you think back to his WWE title reign, he did some dumb shit. Like,
Can you run over the finish again one more time?
the finish,
He did springboard 450. Like, he did Styles clash, then a springboard 450.
Okay, so Styles won. That's
yeah, Styles won. Clean as a whistle.
0.5.
Bet. All right.
No, I'm kidding. I got. Anybody ready?
You go first.
I want to hear Mike's Punk tax because I know it's going to be heavy.
No,
but he did lose.
I don't have a Punk tax on it because he's not in the main event.
All right, bet. I put him nice
He's not in
and
the
low.
main event. He isn't shoehorned in the fucking main event.
I put him nice and low on the card for you, Mike.
It could have been like higher on the card. It's not the main event. He's not the main focus of the pay-per-view, which I'm fine with.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to have evaded that tax
I'm gonna give you
on my Bezos.
I think some of the jabs back and forth were kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
I
one
did,
bar
I, did
by.
like the, I did like to see him, the corporate machine. That
Yeah,
was good.
I was saying there was a
That was
bar
a
from
bar.
AJ.
That was a bar.
I like the UFC for a quick buck because that shit was a cash grab. like.
Yeah, I think the corporate machine was your best bit in the
Thank you.
promos.
I appreciate
I
it.
gotta rate first. I'll give you a 4.
All right, I'll take that. No beef
I
with that.
I don't feel like it was perfect, but it was pretty good.
I'll take it.
I'm also gonna give you a 4. I think the build had some iffy spots. Like I feel like you did the match with AJ and it felt like a throwaway kind of thing with
Him and
AJ
Kendrick.
and Kendrick felt really
Yeah.
throwaway. Also don't like I guess you're doing heel Punk. Has Punk been heel the whole time?
He was like a tweener, like kind of in this pipe bomb era, how he was kind of like he was cheered, but he was always on the heel end of things. Like that was his role with Steve Austin. Now he's leaned into full heel because he's fucking with like a full on baby face and doing dickhead things.
But wasn't he just fucking with the authority figure like not too long
Not
ago?
really. He wasn't like fighting against Trump. He's just saying that their company. He was basically saying they were running a sloppy shop, but that had nothing to do. Like he was unhappy.
He was mostly arguing with Knoxville too. If I
Yeah,
remember.
he was unhappy that they were running a sloppy shop, but he did not side with Knoxville.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a 4. I think the
I'll take
match
that.
itself would be pretty good. I don't like that you had him do the Pepsi plunge and that wasn't the finish.
That's fair.
It felt like
I
you
do.
had him do it in the middle of the match.
Yeah, it
So,
was for like
you're
a
gonna have
kind of
him
pop
do
moment.
If you're gonna have him do the Pepsi plunge, I think that should be like the finish.
That's why it's not the
personally.
finish.
Yeah, it's kinda throw you
You
off.
think it should be the finish. That's why you get it. That's gonna be the perfect false finish.
And it was like to piss off the crowd too because everybody was predicting the Bulldog and he was like, "Wait a minute, motherfuckers!" and then like hit a Pepsi plunge on him. So kind of a nice little switcheroo.
I guess it's kind of because like I'm not physically seeing it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of hard to get that feeling.
yeah.
But I'll still give you a 4. I think the match itself would be really good. I do think there's some holes in your storyline, but I'm not gonna punish you too much for that.
I appreciate it.
So the match should be fine.
hmm
I can't believe I'm saying this. I think the wrong person won.
Ooh. Really, you thought Punk should have won?
I thought Punk should have won.
I could see that.
Mostly because I felt like you made AJ out to be a bitch.
And you have
like
been
the-
building up Punk.
Can
I
you
felt like
clarify
you
why you felt that way?
You have been
here's the-
feeling, other than maybe a few little quips in there, I just felt like he was very passive.
Punk is the
very,
better
like-
promo by a lot. He's gonna win those promos. Like you can't script around that. Punk is gonna win
Like,
those promos.
like even just that little slap and then walk away.
Oh, yeah,
Like
I
they didn't
like that
slap
Well,
and
that-
like
I feel like
stare
that would
down or like even just like I would have liked to stare down or something a little more. I just felt like I just felt like Trump was Trump is a bitch, but AJ I just
Yeah.
felt like AJ is presented as
I was trying to garner
significantly weaker.
some sympathy in that situation, so that's
hold on,
what I was going for.
I do have to say this though. If Punk wins this match, Punk has to face Brian Kendrick or whoever the champion is at the next show. You just beat
It's Kendrick.
you beat Steve Austin and
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles. You have to go in and be the champion, and then you're going to complain that he's in the main event again.
I do have a question though.
What's that?
Well, I guess you can't tell me because that would be for next. But I'm worried about what happens with Punk next. Was Punk on your first show? Oh,
Yeah, he fought
Austin.
Austin.
I do worry what happens with Punk next because he beat Austin, went away, talked all this shit, and then immediately lost.
So Travis, here's
Losing to the
thing.
former
I mean, that
champion
happens all the
ain't
time, though.
yeah, losing to the former champion ain't no embarrassing feat though. AJ was on top of the company, like
Travis,
until he got fucked. Like
they're doing a 2-month skip, so they could yada yada yada, whatever they're doing with.
we got plans. Just stay tuned.
That
I'm
being
just
said, I do think that the wrong person won, and if it was to lead to Punk being in your main event after this, and after not being on the last pay-per-view in a match, not being the main event, I would be more lenient for him being in the championship picture next time because there was a build to it rather than here's 4 pay-per-views, Punk's in the main event of each of these pay-per-views.
Well, yeah, he's not headed that direction. He's got other plans, so stay tuned.
I'm going with I didn't hate it, but I wasn't blown away.
Okay.
I, unlike Damone, will weigh heavier because of the story and how I felt going through it.
Okay.
Because I mean, matches are good, but I'm gonna go
story.
I'm going 3-5.
I'll take it. Appreciate your input.
Trying to get this next one, John. I'll get the next 2.
Yeah, I'll take that. I like this match. And so this next
I don't
match.
like the twinkle
How
in
many
his
matches
eye.
you guys have total?
We got I think 7 or 8.
Jesus fuck.
We'll move a little quicker.
That's
We
not
just gotta
bad.
lower the
I have
commentary
11,
a little bit. So this is a street fight for the Cruiserweight Championship between Johnny Gargano and Matt Riddle. The build?
Hold on.
Yes.
You're having another title fight and a street fight. You have the Extreme Division though, right?
Yes, but the Extreme Division's got other stuff going on. Stay tuned.
Okay, I'm just just want to.
We're a pretty extreme brand. Like we do a lot of extreme shit. Like
Tell me one more time who this match is between and what it is.
it's a street fight between Johnny Gargano and Matt Riddle for the Cruiserweight Championship.
It's for the Cruiserweight Championship.
Yes.
All right.
Is there? Sorry, we're an extreme brand. We're gonna have a lot of weapons matches.
Go for it.
All right.
Yeah.
So after Gargano beat Ricochet,
I thought you guys weren't an extreme brand.
That's what I was about to ask too.
We're a pretty extreme brand. We're a pretty.
I
extreme
thought you
brand.
weren't. I thought
We're not like we're not.
That got brought up before.
Okay. So we're not 100% of the time like Extreme Rules, but we are a pretty extreme brand.
I feel like I specifically remember saying you guys are an extreme brand.
Y'all asked if we were all the time, and we said it not all the time.
Somebody said you weren't.
That's not what Mike said. Mike said that I feel like you guys are presenting yourselves as an extreme brand. I feel like the Extreme Division should be your main title, and you said no. We're not an extreme brand.
I don't recall
that
saying
was
that.
exactly what happened.
I know. That's why I'm right.
that was exactly what happened. But
well,
go on.
Here's what I will say. Just a quick rebuttal. I will say that we're not just an extreme brand. I will say that, but we, in comparison to the other two, we're more extreme.
Just give me your.
We'll continue.
Also,
Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
What's your weight limit?
225.
Okay.
The
Classic.
Supreme. Yep.
All right. So
the prime weight limit.
Yep. So after Gargano beats Ricochet at In Your House, he gloats about overcoming a corrupt commissioner with an agenda against him. Johnny Wrestling is the true underdog and hero in this story. Trump once again has brought justice to the corrupt Knoxville establishment. Now he can focus on being the hard-working, fighting champion he is. With the announcement of Cyber Sunday, he'll defeat anyone the fans could possibly think of now that he's done with Ricochet. In the following week's update of the polls, it's shown that the poll is between none other than Ricochet, P.D. Williams, and Shannon Moore, with Ricochet currently winning by 20%. The build continues with an assumed match between Ricochet and Gargano, while Riddle campaigns like a middle school election for Shannon Moore to get votes with the slogan, "Get more votes." They hand out stickers.
At 1%. Does not register.
They hand out stickers, buttons, and pamphlets to other talents backstage. It gets closer throughout the weeks as Riddle pesters crowd members, getting concessions, puts up QR codes, and puts signs up everywhere. But Ricochet is still slightly ahead. Johnny Gargano tells Riddle campaigning that Moore has his vote. And Gargano goes as far as to even wear the Moore campaign shirt while saying that Ricochet is undeserving of a rematch, and him even being on the poll is a sign of a corrupt establishment. Ricochet laughs and says that Gargano isn't even trying to hide that he's ducking him. Cyber Sunday comes, and Ricochet wins the poll by 0.02% over Shannon Moore. Trump comes out instead of Ricochet for the match, however, saying due to unforeseen travel issues, Ricochet will be unable to compete tonight. Shannon Moore will take his place with Matt Riddle barred from ringside. So Moore starts off hot, but appears to get nervous throughout the match. Gargano takes advantage, gets control, and works his left leg for the rest of the match. Gargano sends Moore stumbling into the ref, who falls over. Gargano pulls the handcuffs that he used against Ricochet in the I Quit match out of his tights, and puts one around his fist and pounds on Shannon Moore's leg while the ref is down. As the ref starts to get up, Gargano locks the injured leg in a single leg crab, and Shannon Moore taps. Gargano doesn't let go until Riddle rushes out. Riddle opens up turmoil after Cyber Sunday, saying that he's got bad news and good news. The bad news is that Shannon Moore was given a torn hamstring at Cyber Sunday and will be out for a couple of months. The good news is that you're going to get to watch me beat the fuck out of Johnny Gargano for it. He said, Johnny Gargano, you steaming piece of donkey shit. In your match, you intentionally injured Shannon Moore. And who knows what even happened to Ricochet? You are consciously hurting other wrestlers to hold on to your title. He goes on and say people have asked him why he never got serious. He says that he never did that for the safety of other wrestlers and fighters. Johnny Gargano, you should be concerned for your safety right now. I am dead serious when I say you will not be protected. I am going to fight you. I am going to intentionally injure you, and I'm going to put you in your place, and that's in the ICU. He drops the mic and walks backstage. Later that night, Gargano is trying to sneak out of the building with Candice LeRae. He's almost to the door, and he hears Riddle say, clocking out early, and then Riddle proceeds to beat his ass while Candice screams for security to get him off. The following week, Trump bans Riddle from the building. A live stream from Riddle's TikTok appears on the screen and says he doesn't need to enter the building tonight. He'll wait for Johnny in the parking lot. He then proceeds to fuck Johnny's car up on live with a steel pipe. Johnny is in the ring with Trump while this airs, screaming to arrest him, get a restraining order, and that this is unsafe work conditions. The next week, Riddle shows up and challenges Gargano to fight him, but Gargano is on the screen from his pool at his house enjoying a cocktail. He says there will be no match between them, as his therapist, Dr. Stevie, has advised him to work from the comfort of his home to ease his distress. He then says to tell Shannon Moore, get well soon. Riddle comes out at the go-home show, sarcastically saying he's saddened to hear of Gargano's mental distress, but that will be nothing compared to getting his face rearranged at his hands. He says the silver lining for him is that Dr. Riddle will sedate him quickly. Gargano comes on screen from his house saying that his stay-at-home order will extend into Asylum because Dr. Stevie will not allow him to wrestle Matt Riddle, as Riddle has caused the Gargano family great anxiety. Knoxville comes out and says he has the perfect plan to solve this problem. He says that Johnny Gargano will not wrestle Matt Riddle, and then there's a big boo from the crowd, but he will fight him because Johnny Wrestling will be facing the original Bro in a street fight at the Barclays Center. If Johnny Gargano does not show up, Candice LeRae will lose her title shot and Gargano will drop his belt. Gargano freaks out and starts throwing his lawn chairs before the footage cuts. Now for the attires. Riddle is wearing board shorts and nothing else. Shannon Moore comes out with him in street clothes and sits with commentary next to his old friend Funaki. Gargano is wearing gray skinny jeans and a Browns OBJ jersey to piss off the New York crowd. So here's the spots. The mat starts with Gargano running under the ring, grabbing and hitting him with a kendo stick over and over again until Riddle just hits him with a big enziguri kick to the head. Gargano does a dragon suplex. Riddle does a running top rope springboard corkscrew senton onto Gargano. Gargano slingshots himself into the tornado DDT off the apron and onto the floor. Riddle power bombs Gargano into the apron. Gargano hits a stiff chair shot to Matt Riddle. Riddle is crawling underneath the ring, and Gargano pulls his leg and exposes his entire body. Riddle is holding a fire extinguisher with a smile on his face. Gargano has a look on his face like, please don't do that shit. And then Riddle sprays him and the crowd cheers. Gargano takes the steel steps, runs and hits him in the head. He drapes Riddle body over the steel steps, climbs a turnbuckle and does a diving foot stomp to hit his back. Gargano does a power bomb into the turnbuckle post outside the ring. Riddle runs and jumps off the steel steps and does a tuck senton bomb onto Gargano, who's leaned on the barricade, and they break through. Riddle carries Gargano up the crowd with the occasional punch along the way. They get to the top, and Riddle does a sidewalk slam onto the steps. They end up back on the floor, but Riddle is still in the crowd. Riddle does a running crossbody over the barricade to Gargano outside the ring. Riddle is searching underneath the ring, pulls a table out, moves 4 different chairs out of the way, moves a ladder out of the way, throws kendo sticks out of the way, and pulls out a skateboard. Gargano is trying to get up and is leaning against the apron. Riddle runs up to the top of the stage, gets on the skateboard, and the crowd goes, whoa, as he goes all the way down, and then hits a big jumping lariat. Riddle does the running knee lift, which lays Gargano out. Gargano hits a buckle German suplex. Riddle does a running jumping guillotine and tries to choke him out, but Gargano gets out of the choke and hits him with the gourd buster. Gargano hits a low blow, but Riddle catches with his leg. Gargano goes for a low blow, but Riddle catches him with his leg. With one of his hands, he flicks him off, and then he does the Stone Bro Stunner. Riddle hits him with the Bro to Sleep, and the match ends when Gargano goes for a superplex, but Riddle knees him in the head midair and does a super arcade bro and pins him for the 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I just have a couple notes, questions.
Okay.
First note, your cruiserweight division seems more extreme than your actual extreme division.
We just had an Inferno match. We just had an Inferno match.
We did have
Right.
Inferno match.
But like I feel like you've had more because your last match that you did for the show was an extreme, like not an extreme
As
match.
I quit, yeah.
It's an I quit match, and now you're having a street fight.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels your cruiserweight division feels like your extreme division.
Just wait till our extreme division night. Just wait.
Also, did Ricochet? You know Ricochet's from America, right? He's from Kentucky. Like, did he get deported? Because you said he had travel issues, and then like the whole ass month went by.
That's racist.
It's in quotations for a reason. Something was intercepted along the way. We'll just leave it there. Save that for later. Maybe.
Right.
Trump's
over there laying like a bad bitch right now.
My back is hurting so bad.
Hey, Trump's a dirty motherfucker. Who knows what he did?
I knew someone was gonna say something about it, and I was like, "Look, y'all just got to take."
He got his feet up. He kicking his toes up.
You know how I feel right now? I feel like you were at Nationwide that one time.
Oh yeah.
I am in pain. I'm over here. I'm over here squirming.
Travis, you better pop
right
an
now.
ibuprofen.
Him just playing with his hair.
Travis, your ratings have been nice. You better pop an ibuprofen.
Like this, kicking his legs like this.
That was my question. So like Ricochet was like a huge part of this, lost the shot because of travel issues, and then just disappeared. And it became all about Riddle.
That's the intention, is that Ricochet, clearly there's a reason he did not show up at Cyber Sunday and hasn't been seen since.
Okay.
It's fishy, and Riddle brought that up. Like, who knows what actually happened to him? Something's up.
Okay, so then another thing you had is if he's not medically cleared to wrestle. I understand that Dr. Stevie is like a
schmuck.
A schmuck. But technically, if he's not cleared to wrestle, why would he be cleared to fight?
Because fuck him, that's why. Because Knoxville's tired of his shit, that's why.
Also, question.
Yes.
Knoxville is the general manager, right?
He's commissioner.
Trump is the owner.
CEO, correct.
Okay. And Trump is aligned with Gargano.
Correct.
Why couldn't Trump just say, nah, fuck that, you don't have to wrestle?
Because Knoxville also threatened to take Candice LeRae's title shot away and strip Johnny of his title.
That's not happening. I'm the owner. Sorry, not happening.
Well, I mean, then they just got to throw hands over it.
That's what I'm just saying. That feels like a plot hole because Trump literally could just be like, no, you're not doing that. He has a doctor's no, he doesn't have to wrestle, especially if they're closely aligned.
But there was a loophole he found. He said, because the doctor said he doesn't have to wrestle. And the wording is where Knoxville caught him and says, you don't got to wrestle. You're in a street fight.
It's Damone. It's kayfabe.
It's wrestling logic.
I'm just saying.
Right.
Travis about to blow his back out.
Right. I'm gonna give you
My back hurts.
I'm gonna give you a 3.75.
All right.
Now you're sitting like Alistair Brown.
Alistair Brown. What do you think, Mike and Travis?
I got some issues.
Okay.
One, I don't like that there's been an I Quit match and then a street fight right after it.
It's 2 months later.
Yeah, Gargano is complete. He's trying to chicken out of like matches is the big thing.
Okay,
so
okay.
like Knoxville is putting him in situations where he'll get his shit rocked.
Here's the thing. So stories build matches, right?
Yes.
The story built for a gimmick match, but not this gimmick match. You should have went with your instincts and done the what's it called? The Lions Den match, like you were planning.
I had an even cornier plan than that. I thought about doing a good housekeeping match, but
It was a good
I
housekeeping match.
it's basically just a hardcore match with fucking like furniture and like shit like that.
That's awful.
Brooms and mops and stuff.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm glad I
that
didn't
was
do
a
it.
terrible
Good
idea.
housekeeping
Yeah,
match.
I would have
is-
given you a 0.5.
A good housekeeping match is meant for intergender.
Yeah,
Hey, I was the reason why we didn't do it. I was like, no.
I would have given you
Terrible.
a 0.5.
So good for you because you definitely got 50 cents for that shit. This should have been either a fight pit or a.
Yeah, I was
Lions
thinking
Den.
that, and here's the reason why. Two reasons why I didn't. I couldn't do fight pit because I can't drop down multiple structures, and the elimination chamber's already happening. So then I was stuck with Lions Den, and then I heard y'all's comments about the Lions Den, and I was like, I'm not fucking doing that shit. I'm not gonna take that risk.
Here's the thing. You did the same thing that Damone and Mike did. You pandered to the audience when the story deserved better. The story deserved the fight pit because nothing about Matt Riddle tells me he's going to be a good in a street fight.
I mean, if you're an MMA fighter, you can kick somebody's ass in the street.
No.
Not necessarily. If I have a weapon, I
Street
can
fights
do
are
that.
street fights are
thinking-
based off of weapons, and that's
Right.
it's a hardcore match.
Well, when you say
So-
street fight in real life, you're thinking just who's gonna throw hands better, and I'm gonna
But
take
that's
a
not what
fucking.
wrestling match is.
But
It's
that's not
real
what
life.
they did. That's not what they did. They didn't have like a fist, like a fist to fist.
I mean, plenty of fists were thrown.
They were
Like,
thrown, but you were using weapons. The whole idea of a street fight in pro wrestling is you're using weapons, and you're
They
able
use-
to
they
use
use
like,
weapons,
trash cans
though.
and stuff.
yeah, they've used weapons. Both of them have been in weapons matches in their
I'm not
career.
saying that.
No,
I'm
we're
saying
not
when you're
saying
building
that.
the story of I'm not going to wrestle you. I'm going to fight you with Matt Riddle. It should have been a Lions Den match or a fight pit. So those were your. I mean, that's just
Yeah,
That is what
it was my instincts, and I
even
just
if you
wanted to
did-
not do
even
that.
if you did a fight pit in another location.
Yeah, I
How
thought
they
about
did
that too, but I didn't know if like that was going to be too much explaining because I wanted to do fight pit because that's actually a good match where the Lions Den wasn't in real life.
You could have done the fight pit at Riddle's gym, like the gym Riddle used to fight or used to work with.
Oh damn,
in
I could have done a
MMA.
cinematic match too. Damn, that's a good point.
So
I can't argue with that because I was thinking it too, but I didn't want to take the risk.
the match was cool. How much does Matt Riddle weigh?
218.
Yeah, that's why I asked what the weight limit was.
Okay.
Because I thought they were about to put someone above
I-
the weight limit in their cruiserweight. I was gonna get you for
218
that.
with the 225 limit.
I was ready to take that change away.
I know my cruiserweights.
I'm curious to hear Mike's thing and his dissection and rating. So I'm gonna abstain from.
Okay,
One more
from
thing, I didn't like the
rating so
skateboard
far.
spot.
You didn't like
What did you say?
that's Kenny.
that was,
You
I,
eat that one.
I thought that shit was fun
So-
when I made it.
Oh, I like.
Mike. 1 second.
What?
I just want to know what Damone rated it.
I gave it a 3.75. Right?
There was one spot.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's too late to kind of make note of it, but there was one that I wrote that somehow got moved. And I don't know if it's okay, but it won't probably make a huge difference. But it's kind of a little bit of a long-term story piece, and that's that he did. Riddle did use the handcuff that Gargano used to fuck Shannon Moore up and Ricochet, and he fucked Gargano up with it.
I probably copied and pasted over it accidentally and I realized.
Yeah, we lost
Probably
that spot.
deleted it because he thought it sucked.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't a bad spot. I just literally I make the matches in a separate.
Yeah, it was an
drive.
accident, but yeah, he
That's
did
a
fuck him up with the
two-hander.
handcuff,
That's
and
a
I had to
two-hander.
include that for the long term.
You ain't to start that pop with us. You ain't to do that.
Okay, this is tight.
I mean,
You hit that delete
He already-
button, like
didn't he
delete,
guys-
delete.
Kenny, didn't you already throw him under the bus once tonight, saying that you didn't?
Hey, I listened to my
I know,
partner.
I said-
Timon
I
didn't
said
listen
it
to you
was-
when he
I
put
said
that
no,
shit in
it
the main
wasn't.
event.
Yeah, but we both said some stuff. It was like nah.
All right. So overall, I didn't have too huge of a problem,
Okay.
but I
the skateboard
absolutely I like the skateboard spot.
I
Absolutely.
What did you hate?
I hated the fact that it was. I hated the fact that it was a hardcore. It was a street fight. I hated it. That was fucking stupid. That was probably the worst thing you could have done.
Really? What
It's a
done
fucking
instead?
cruiserweight match. I want cruiserweights to be cruiserweights.
I like hardcore shit and cruiserweights
Cool.
together.
That's fine.
205
but-
Live did some great shit with that.
That's great. You can like it.
Yeah,
I, on the other hand,
that's fair.
don't.
That's fair criticism.
This is a pay-per-view. We're watching your cruiserweight title match. Have those, if you're going to do the street fights, do them on your weekly show. I want,
baby.
I want.
Let me write a weekly show then. Fuck.
I want there to for this. A cruiserweight. It should have been a cruiserweight match, and that was actually probably my biggest issue.
That's fair.
The Ricochet thing does just disappearing, just kind of annoy me too.
Stay tuned.
Right, but I can't.
Yeah.
As you guys tell me, I can't.
You can't
rate
go
you
off
on
There
something
is an
that's not written
explanation.
yet.
Yeah, and it is addressed. I will say that it's been addressed.
I'm gonna go. That the fact that it was a hardcore match really, or street fight, really fucking sucked. 375.
I appreciate your honesty. Travis, what you got for us?
I'm lower than them, honestly. I think that same way I did them. I think I got to give you a cave to the crowd tax
That's fair.
because I feel like this match deserved.
So I wrote the lines then, and then I heard y'all say that when I was listening to Travis's show. I was like, I gotta erase that shit so fucking
I know.
fast.
And
Yeah, we've learned
you
this
said
week is
it.
don't listen to the fans. Fuck the
I've been
fans.
telling you,
Yeah,
John.
apparently, don't fuck.
I agree with you. Fuck us. Like that's not.
I
Don't,
don't.
whatever you do.
Okay, but we were in like deep poverty at that point. I was trying to
I'm
get
just saying. I
out.
said fuck them. I've been saying fuck them since the beginning.
No, I don't think you shouldn't completely disregard what people tell you, because when you're told that you're not going to get high rating because you have X, X, and X on your show, and then you're like, all right, well, let's pivot, and then you pivot, and then they're like, well, you should have kept X, X, and X on the show.
Look, this is Book It. This is the most hypocritical show ever.
Hold the fuck on. There's a difference between pivoting and turning around and walking the opposite direction, which is what y'all motherfuckers did.
We pivoted.
It's still a fight. It's not the opposite direction.
I don't think that we're on the
I think you went the wrong way.
But for their show, I don't think they did a hard turn.
They pivoted. I was talking about y'all specifically.
Yeah, we're on. Like I said before, we're on the WrestleMania.
Anyway,
I love that.
Anyway,
Such good shit.
All we did was roadblock, and now
A roadblock.
now we're on WrestleMania.
Yeah,
The road to WrestleMania. Such good shit.
anybody hear me?
yeah.
We hear you, Travis.
We hear
All right,
you.
give you a 3.
Ooh, that hurt. All right, Kenny, take us through our tag team division, please.
I was waiting for this.
Show us the goats.
So during the TV title tournament, building up to In Your House, Sean O'Haire defeated Baron Corbin, who has been down on his luck as of late. Following the match, James put his hand on Corbin's head with a sadistic grin.
James Mitchell, just so y'all know who I'm talking about, that is Sean O'Haire's manager at this moment. James Mitchell.
Got you. So James puts his hand on Corbin's head with a sadistic grin. O'Haire picked him up and carried him backstage. O'Haire faced John Morrison in the finals of the tournament, and though Corbin, now sporting dark clothing similar to his lone wolf era, tried to help O'Haire win, he messed up the plan and Morrison won. Father James did an interview with Godfrey, and after being asked to explain what happened to Corbin, he said the lone wolf lost his way. He has now been brought back into the pack, and the gatherers will share the prey. Between In Your House and Cyber Sunday, they destroyed 2 local teams, debuting a tag finisher when Corbin hits a deep 6 onto the bent knee of O'Haire that they call Deliverance. The Usos have had a fantastic record throughout their entire time in CBW, and La Resistance has turned it around as of late, getting a big victory over LAX, showing more personality. They even get the crowd to chant. I don't even know what that word is.
It's we. It's the French yes. We.
Oh, you spelled that wrong.
Oh, did I? But
I was like, I don't want to spell.
How did he spell it?
W-I. I was like, I don't want to say why or we. Like,
how do you spell it?
it's O-U-I.
Oh, well, I'm a fucking dumbass. Sorry.
I was like,
That's the most American thing you could have done.
yeah, I was
Okay,
like,
I know Spanish, not French.
during the entrance. The Rude Ones have been watching these matches from commentary, saying that it's anyone's ball game after they defeated Team Brohawk. After each of the 3 teams get a win, they act unimpressed, saying that they don't see number 1 contenders yet. 2 weeks before the show, there's Cyber Sunday poll is announced to be between Usos, La Resistance, and the Gatherers. Usos have an early lead, but it remains close as them and La Resistance are loved by fans, but they also want to see the Gatherers destroy the Rude Ones. The polls remain close on the Go Home show. Corbin, Jey Uso, and Dupree have a triple threat match where Mitchell distraction and O'Haire interference wins Corbin the match. At Cyber Sunday, the polls are split evenly at 33.3333% each. The Rude Ones shrug and walk out of the ring, but the Gatherers stalk them back down to the ramp. Usos and La Resistance come out, and the brawl breaks loose. It is announced that night that there will be a 4-way tag team match between these teams at Asylum for the tag team championships. Over the next month, there's 1 week where the team members have single matches, 1 week with an eight-man tag match where the Rude Ones leave the Gatherers to lose 4-on-2. 1 week where La Resistance beat the Rude Ones and the Gatherers beat the Usos. The Go Home show has a fatal 4-way singles match that evolves into chaos outside the ring. It really is anyone's game in the Asylum. So now it's time for the attires. La Resistance come out in white and blue. Usos come out with red shorts. O'Haire and Corbin come out in black pants with red stitching on them. And the Rude Ones come out wearing all pink with pink robes on with their titles underneath the robes. And when they come out, one fan is taking pictures. The Robert Roode snatches the phone out of the fan's hand and takes a picture of his junk and then tosses it back to him. So now
CBW. Does he pull his trunks out? Like,
yeah, he just kind of pulled it out real quick like that.
You better
Take a dick pic.
He's obviously a plant. Like, he's not, so that way we don't get him later on and try to cancel him.
Me too.
Try to cancel the Rude Ones. All right, so the match starts off with all of them running together, each other cluttered, swinging at each other, and they're throwing each other out of the way and beating on each other. Conway and Corbin slide back into the ring, and Conway sprints at him, but is met with a big boot by Corbin. Rob Conway Irish whips Robert Roode and Dupree, and Dupree drop kicks him. Then Dupree does his little dance, and then does the standing elbow drop. Rick Rude low blows Jey Uso, and then goes for the pin. But this is like the ref is not paying attention, and goes for the pin, but he kicks out at 2. O'Haire kicks out at 2. Corbin does a running elbow smash to Jimmy Uso while he's on the apron. Jimmy Uso flies off, and Rob Conway DDTs him out of the air. So like he literally comes down like this, and he's just like, wow, real quick. Rick Rude belly to belly suplexes Rene Dupree. He kips up and then leans over the ropes and does a little wink to the camera, and as he's chewing his gum. La Resistance hit their finisher on Corbin, but Corbin kicks out the pin. I don't know what that move is called. I looked all over the internet for that move. I don't know the name of the La Resistance finishing move, but it's pretty much just puts the legs on the guy and then does a quick neck breaker.
There's the pre-magic killer.
Yeah, I forget what they called it. And I couldn't find
Good brothers ain't shit.
But yeah, Corbin kicked out of the pin. Corbin gets drop kicked by Robert Roode out of the ring. Robert Roode's like getting ready. Then he runs and goes for the suicide dive, then stops. He's like, forget it. And the crowd starts booing him for it. Then Jimmy Uso goes for a suicide dive at one point, but Rick Rude catches him and does a belly suplex into the barricade. Someone in the audience goes for a high five for Rick Rude. Miss Elizabeth, he high fives the crowd member. The Rick Rude goes over and puts hand sanitizer on his hands real quick because he doesn't want to be touched by these disgusting fans. O'Haire Irish whips Rick Rude, and Corbin catches him and hits the deliverance onto the bent knees. And then O'Haire follows with a lion salt, go for the pin, but they kick out. Jimmy Uso is at one point. Jimmy Uso's in a 619 position, and Robert Roode puts his knee on the back of Jimmy's neck as the ref counts. And when he gets off at 4, the ref starts yelling at Robert. And while the ref isn't paying attention, Miss Elizabeth sprays Jimmy in the face with hairspray, and he's blinded. While everyone is out of the ring fighting, Sean O'Haire is climbing the turnbuckle, and he goes for a senton bomb to the outside and hits everyone out there. And the match ends when Rick Rude lifts Robert Roode in the Doomsday position, and they hit their super suplex to Robert Conway sitting on the turnbuckle. And Rick Rude gets on top and pins him. 1, 2, 3. The Rude wants to retain their belt.
Okay.
Mike, you go first.
You had some funny spots. Fuck it, I'm gonna give you a 5.
Thank you.
You get a 5.
This wasn't in the cage or anything, right?
No. This is a regular. It's a regular fatal 4-way tag match. It's a tornado tag match. So everybody's in there, just a whole bunch of chaos going on.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a 4.5. I actually think the wrong team won. I think that you should have had Corbin and why am I drawing
O'Hare.
O'Hare
The
win
Gatherers.
because the Gatherers, you just established them as a tag team.
It was a close decision because we were loving both of them going in, and I was just like, I can't decide this, so we got to flip a coin. Like,
you just established them as a tag team, and you had an area where like he messed up, so they haven't really won anything. But I feel like you could have really established them as a tag team. It just feels like both of they don't have anywhere to go now.
Yeah.
So
they're still new. They got time to put it together. You know, they're still new.
But I feel like you could have really established them as like a real tag team and real they could have won the titles, and then you could have done stuff with them and because it's just a juxtaposition between like the darkness of like James Mitchell and the rude ones is just like complete opposite world.
Yeah.
I think that would have been some cool stuff you could have done with them. And I kind of feel like you kind of can't now. So I'm gonna give you a 4.5. That's the only gripe I have.
Okay, I'll take that.
Who was the fourth team? So there was
it was the Usos, La Resistance, and then the Gatherers and Rude Ones.
So Usos were baby faces?
Yes, as were La Resistance. The Gatherers and the Rude Ones were the heels. La Resistance.
That's gross.
Their kind of new thing is that they were kind of down on their luck for a while, and they kind of turned it around and kind of started getting over. So they're
take a penny away for that. 4.49. I don't like them as a face. I
don't either.
Well, they ate the pin, so it don't matter. But
I hate that the Usos are getting protected still. I feel like the Usos should be moved out, and we should get new teams in the.
Well, the Usos they did lose. They lose, and so did because this is their second title shot, and they're probably not going to get another shot. It's just their record was still really good on the weekly shows as compared to LAX, who's been slipping down lately. So, or as compared to some of our other teams we have.
Are you pulling this out of your ass as you're saying this?
No. It is written that the reason the Usos are in the match is because of their weekly show record.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a 4.5.
Yeah,
I'll keep it as 4.5. That's fine.
You're gonna take the penny.
I was gonna take.
What the fuck am I doing?
Well, whatever it is, don't take it. Just leave it there. Can he move forward?
All right. Going to the next match for the women's title. So Teddy Long comes out with Kong, and after In Your House, saying that the women's division is as ran through as the women in it. Awesome Kong is the... I never read it out loud.
Teddy Long's a fucking degenerate. Y'all ain't seen him.
I was say it's just reading out loud was just different. Awesome Kong is the most dominant champion in wrestling. Death, taxes, and Awesome Kong busting bitches up. Kong beats a local talent in the ring, and Teddy says that they might as well just air this for Asylum because it's going to be the same result. Knoxville comes out and says Teddy shouldn't be talking about women's division because he can never book one. Knoxville very much believes in its women's division, and they can present a challenge to Awesome Kong. He says that if Kong is what Teddy says she is, she'll enter the Elimination Chamber at number 1 and put her title on the line against the 4 women with the best records and one mystery opponent. During women's matches throughout the month, commentary makes note of the records in the division, stating that Carmella and Toni Storm are locks to make the chamber, while the other 2 spots are anyone's game. Charlotte and Bianca Belair have a lead that's dwindling after their the latest matches. Charlotte falls out of contention, losing to Carmella in a rubber match, but beats Billie Kay to knock her out. Candice LeRae beats Layla and Bianca back-to-back to secure a spot. Peyton Royce beats Michelle McCool to tie Charlotte's record and then defeats Charlotte in the final week before the pay-per-view. The top 4 records in the division are Carmella, Toni Storm, Candice LeRae, and Peyton Royce. There's been no hint to who the mystery opponent will be. They all do their entrances, and we hear the music of Io Shirai hit, and the crowd goes nuts. She's returning after nearly a year out with a torn ACL. Funaki is losing his shit on commentary. Crowd is going nuts to the strobe lighting of her entrance. So now here's the attires. Peyton comes out in a black top and in black tights with green designs, with Billie Kay wearing the same, accompanying her to the ring with a purse. Awesome Kong comes out in all black. Io Shirai comes out in black and blue. Carmella comes out in her money attire. Toni Storm is in her Jaguar skin attire, and then Candice LeRae is in her yellow attire. So the match starts with Peyton Royce immediately trying to run away from Awesome Kong, but Kong grabs her by the hair. She's kicking and screaming. Kong gives her a stiff lariat, which lays her out as she stares at Io in her pod. Kong continues to beat up on Royce with stiff slams and other maneuvers as she looks at Io. Candice LeRae comes out of her pod next. While Kong continues to beat up Royce, Candice tries to cheap shot Kong, but from behind with an Enzu forearm, but Kong slowly turns around and then hits her with a lariat. Candice and Roy take turns kicking her legs until Kong does a double lariat to take them both out. She lays Candice on top of Royce, then does a running senton to them both. Then the next entrant is Toni Storm. She comes in, immediately runs and tries to elbow smash Kong several times. She runs and goes for one last running forearm, but Kong grabs her for a belly-to-belly and throws her against the turnbuckle. Io finally comes in. The crowd's going crazy. You see them have a stare down. Both of them exchange words. Billie Kay pulls the metal bar out of her bag outside of the chamber and slides it through to Royce while she's laying down and reaching out. Royce hits Kong in the back of her leg, and Kong screams in pain. Shirai's pissed off because she finally wanted her shot at Kong. Looks at Royce since she ruined her moment with her and does a Ludes Praise with punches. Carmella comes in next. Candice is climbing the chamber, and Carmella does a basement drop kick to Kong's leg. When Kong drops to a knee, Candice jumps off the chamber and does a tornado DDT to Kong. Io does a jumping double stomp on Tony's chest. One point, Kong hits Carmella with an implant buster, drags Carmella's body and climbs up to the middle rope and hits a bonsai drop. At one point, Io's does her Tiger Feint kick. If you don't know, it's pretty much the 619. To Royce as she's cheering off to the side. Carmella is on the top of the pod sitting. Like at one point, and Storm climbs the turnbuckle and punches her. She goes for a superplex, but Candice punches her in the back, climbs up and goes for a German suplex off the top rope, but Kong elbows her in the back, and then she goes for a power bomb, and we get a Tower of Doom, so they all drop at the same time. Carmella's knocked out, and Io crawls over and pins her. She gets the 1-2-3. Carmella's eliminated. Toni Storm is sitting on the top of the pod at 1.2. Io jumps onto the top rope, punches her in the head. Io moves her leg over and climbs up on the pod and does a Frankensteiner off the top onto the hard ground. Royce runs over and pins Storm quickly and gets the 1-2-3. The crowd's booing because Royce pretty much stole the pin, and Billie Kay is off to the side cheering. Kong repeatedly slams Royce's head against the chamber. One point. There's one point where Candice hits Io with a kill switch. She goes for the pin, but Io kicks out. Io does an aside moonsault to Royce and Candice at the same time, then pins Candice and gets the 1-2-3. Candice is eliminated. While Royce is on the ground, Io grabs both ankles and leans her body back. You know that move where it's like they grab both ankles and they just go backwards and they go flying. So she does that. Let me see, I lost my place. But Royce jumps up and climbs the pod. Billie Kay is off to the side cheering some more as Royce does a diving crossbody off to Kong outside of the ring. But Kong catches her and puts her in the powerbomb position. She runs with her and powerbombs her through the chamber door. She gets the pin, 1-2-3. Kong big boots Io and goes for the pin, 1-2, but Io kicks out. One point Kong, so it's just Kong and Io left now. Kong Irish whips Io through the chamber door and she breaks through it. At one point, Io goes for a German suplex on Kong. She uses all of her strength and finally hits it. One point, Io drags her body out of the ring and literally kicks her out of the ring. She opens the chamber door and puts Kong's arm through it and closes the door on her arm. And while Kong is trying to get back up, Io repeatedly kicks her in the side over and over again to wear her down while she's completely standing. She spots the metal bar from earlier and picks it up. She continues to hit her side with the bar. Kong drops down while she winces in pain. And the end of the match, Io kicks her in the stomach, then climbs the turnbuckle and does a diving crossbody. She catches her, and the momentum swings her to roll backwards, and she uses her strength to lift her up. Io wiggles out of it and turns it into an arm drag. Io runs full speed and does a springboard aside moonsault of the turnbuckle and gets the pin. 1-2-3. Io Shirai is your winner.
How long has Kong been champion?
About 6 months.
Yeah, I would say 6 months.
Okay. I felt like it was shorter, but
No, it's been about 6 months.
okay.
Maybe 5. I'm gonna say it's either 5 or 6 months. I can't remember what the
It would,
first, second pay per view. I think it was 3 months. So it should be like 5 months.
Okay. I'll go first. I'm gonna give you a 4.5. I didn't like the Tower of Doom. I don't like the Tower of Doom. It takes too much of a setup.
Okay.
I didn't hate anything else like greatly. Actually, wait, I do have a question. Wait.
what's that?
So their records, you said that was how it was determined who was in and who was out of the match,
Yes.
right? Do you guys normally say like what they're like? I know like AEW, like you just go on the website and see what their record is.
It's shown, yes.
Okay,
When did
I'll
you
show
decide that? Because you
Right.
haven't presented that before.
Well, it was just so here's my thing with it is that we didn't make it like a big point of any of our stories, but it's always just kind of been there, like on the name bars. But this is just the point where it mattered the most in the story, so that was why we brought it up because that was how it was determined for this match.
What did I give you?
4.5.
Make it a 4.4.
My dime, no.
Yeah, I don't like because it did feel like that came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
And
if
now
you had been
you-
watching on the weekly shows, you would have seen it on the name
Right.
bars, but there's just no other place
Gotta
to
watch
announce.
CBW, man. Gotta watch
I'm not-
CBW.
There's no
I'm not
other
huge-
place to announce. Hey, the record's on the name bar. Like,
I'm not a huge fan of it being determined by the record.
Mm.
Like I get it, but it's not the best way. I felt like you could have had elimination matches and stuff.
yeah, I just didn't want it to be the
So-
same as the other chamber, so I wanted to make it different.
I get it, but I'm only gonna take a dime from you.
I'll take it.
Travis.
I think the right person won. I think I just didn't care about this match. Like nothing hooked me, nothing brought me in. I thought the opening line was funny. When Teddy Long said the whatever it was that been ran through line. That was kind of funny, but yeah, I'm gonna give you. I also don't like that this record thing just randomly popped up for this show.
I wish that there was just another point in our company where I could have just said, "Hey, the nameplate, show the record," but there is just no other point for me to bring that up because it hasn't
First
been in the story.
pay-per-view, you could have snuck it in somewhere.
Yeah, you could have just
Maybe.
introduced it as a concept.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I
'cause
probably
you did
should
have
have.
like that whole.
There's been no
entrance-
precedent for it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
also did have that whole like entrance, like first thing where you talked for like the whole foundation of the company. You could
Yeah.
have put it in there.
That's a fair assessment.
Go ahead, Travis.
I'm gonna give you a 3. I just really didn't care about this at all. You did good with what you had, but it just I don't know. Just it didn't get me. Like I was just like this isn't for me.
We gotta start explaining everything. We our rings have 3 ropes. We got three
It's got
turnbuckles.
4.5 sides.
Apron on the stage.
Well, we know sides like are important.
There's people in the
The
crowd.
seventh
You know.
side.
Is there people in the crowd? You could have fooled me.
It's at the Barclays, motherfucker. It's at the Barclays. Sold out.
We got as many fans as NSW.
Sold out. Found out,
We got as
found out
many.
they
Actually,
were-
more after last show, they
Found
lost
out
a few.
found out you only released like 50 tickets.
If this was GMO, their fans came to us.
Maybe
I'm not
Maybe
gonna
they
hold.
went to Alpha.
I'm not gonna hold the record thing against you because I really don't give a shit.
Appreciate it.
That
Do
being
real
said, I
one
also didn't give a shit about this match.
Right,
Pain.
I'm-
Women's Wrestling.
I'm right there with Travis on it. It didn't. There's nothing about it hooked me. I
It's an elimination
like
chamber.
women's
That hooks.
wrestling. I liked Travis's and Keith's, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte.
It's because it has Charlotte.
It was Becky Lynch. There was
Was
no
it Becky
Charlotte.
Lynch? Then no. Was it?
I don't
was it
have
Becky
Charlotte.
Lynch?
I have
Charlotte.
Charlotte. I
I
literally
got
have
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
He's just putting Charlotte in matches.
Becky Lynch, Charlotte.
He's like saying.
Either way, I
saying,
like
they're
that
people.
one. That
Give me a
just
couple
worked
quarters for that. Come on.
Vagina versus vagina. Come on.
That being said, who has Charlotte?
We do.
We do.
And Charlotte wasn't in this match.
She's been in the
Remember,
previous
she
other
lost.
women's
No,
title
remember
matches.
she
We don't want to
lost
put her
right
in everything.
before.
Remember how like it was a problem with CM Punk. We didn't want to build that problem with Charlotte because a real life company
It
has
won't
already
be
done
because
that.
it won't be because Mike is biased and he lets his bias shine through.
Yeah, 3 point.
He talks about my rating and like all this other shit, but he's literally biased.
Give us some quarters to shut this motherfucker
Your
up.
Mike's doing that thing.
Yeah.
Your mic's
Oh
doing
my
Give us some
God.
extra quarters to shut him up.
I'm doing 3.5.
I'll take it. All right. So you ready for our extreme division?
Yes.
How many matches
Alright.
do you have left?
2 more.
You got 2.
This and another one?
Yep,
Yes.
This in the final match.
I feel
All right.
like y'all about to fuck this up.
No. So this is be for our extreme championship. This will be Raven versus the Pope Elijah Burke in a crucifix match. So
I'm gonna let it go.
Yeah, just
let it play.
please.
Let it play out. Let it
What
play
Please.
out.
just happened? I just see Travis's cheeks. What just happened?
I want to say Travis looks like he's trying to get us some live views on TikTok. Laying down like that.
So, Raven spends the month between In Your House and Cyber Sunday airing vignettes saying he has a long-term plan to make humanity pay for their
Hold on,
sins.
I need you
against
to slow down and say all that again.
him. Okay. Raven spends the months between In Your House and Cyber Sunday airing vignettes that he has a long-term plan to make humanity pay for their sins against him. He has been blamed and burdened for too long. He will punish those who deserve to be damned. Sending New Jack to hell was phase 1. Merely writing my letter and signing the envelope. New Jack was the embodiment of the faults of every person. After these vignettes, commentary updates viewers on the severity of New Jack's third-degree burns. Raven doesn't have a match at Cyber Sunday, leaving the fans disappointed they didn't get to vote for an extreme match type as they had in years past. Raven instead cuts a promo at Cyber Sunday saying the powers of the company were more than happy to let me take the night off, showing the world's malice against me. I am the scapegoat no longer. These are your sins to pay for. He goes into the crowd and he asks 2 different fans what their names are and what's the worst thing they've ever done. The first fan's name is Travis, who admits to tax evasion. The second fan's name is Mike, who admits to embezzlement and fraud. He assaults the 2 fans and drags them to the ring, screaming that they will pay and not him. He knocks them out and then whips them with a cat and 9 tails before hitting his pose and the lights go out. This makes the news cycle with both sides of social spectrum being outraged. Both Trump and Knoxville have to do PR for Raven and the Extreme Division and the company as a whole. Trump says he's always wanted to hit the Trump says he's always wanted to hit the division on the news for a while. He's always wanted to scrap it. Sorry, my wording's off. Always wanted to scrap it. And Knoxville says that Raven has definitely gotten out of control and isn't motivated by things other wrestlers are, such as money. He apologizes and says he has personally paid those fans handsomely and will do anything he can to get Raven under control. Raven comes out of turmoil the next week saying that their remarks are nothing new. People have always been ashamed of him. People have always had to apologize for his existence. People have always placed the blame on him. They are showing the world why he is what he is, why he's punishing them. He assaults another fan, poses, and the lights go out. The room lights up some as a spotlight hits the stage, illuminating the room enough to show Raven's surprise. The intro to Hurricane by Kanye West in The Weeknd plays, and as the organs hit, a familiar face walks into the light. Elijah Burke, now donning crosses and commentary screaming that is the Pope. Lights turn on, and Pope rushes the ring, and Raven rolls out, and then the lights go out, and he's gone. Pope is promoted to speak the next week on Turmoil. He makes his new theatric entrance to Hurricane again. He hypes up the crowd about the Pope being back to serve his congregation and gets a big amen from the crowd. He says the Pope is no saint himself, but the evils of Raven must be brought into the light. Raven portrays himself a victim and then delivers pain onto others. He hates his neighbor as he does himself. The Pope believes in forgiveness, but the Pope also believes in justice. Believe what I say, justice will be served, and Raven will be subjected to the weeping and gnashing of teeth. Raven interrupts from the Gigatron, screaming, "How dare you? How dare you pretend you're any different than me? You've lied, you've cheated, you've hurt others. You cannot judge me, as you too are a godless heathen. Everything about what you're doing is a gimmick and a cash grab. You don't believe this shit. You want to cash in on my suffering and collect my bounty." He slowly says, you will pay. And then seconds later, Spotlight in the crowd shows Raven choking out a fan, screaming, "You will pay." The Pope comes out on the next week saying that this week's sermon can wait. He wants Raven to face damnation this week here on Turmoil. Raven never shows up, and officials tell him that the next match needs to start. So Pope just waits in the ring, and then they have to officials send him out. Pope waits by the timekeeper all night, and Raven never arrives. Next week, Pope calls him out again, saying that Raven knows the Pope is speaking truth, and Raven is afraid. Raven knows the game has gone too far and that he's cornered. Raven actually comes out on stage this week. It says that Elijah didn't listen to him. Nobody does. You're no better than me. My hell is your hell. My eternity is also yours. 1 second. Sorry, I lost my place. Okay. I've accepted my fate, but you live in denial. You think you're so damn pure, huh? Well, how about you bear my cross? You hang for all of humanity. You go up on the crucifix like I do every single day. Elijah, you want to fight? You've got it. I'll give you a chance at this title and so-called justice in a crucifix match at Asylum. Pope says he agrees to the terms, but why wait till Sunday service when you can get baptized on a Tuesday? And then the crowd cheers as he gets out of the ring, and they fight on the ramp. Elijah gets the better of him and then rains down fists. Raven manages to run and crawl backstage, and Pope is screaming at the camera that we'll see who pays at Asylum. Many media outlets see the crucifix match announced and call for the FCC to ban CBW and their TV deal to be dropped. All right. So, before the match starts, Mr. Kennedy in the ring announces the rules. There's no pinfall, submission, disqualification, or countout. You must win the match by tying your opponent's arms to the beams of the cross and their feet to the base. Pope comes out in all white with gold crosses on his attire as the Harlem Gospel Choir sings the chorus to the parts on Hurricane. And Raven comes out with a crown of thorns on, a dirty white skirt that looks like a loincloth, and red paint on his body, looking like a white Jesus painting. And then the match starts off with both of them sitting in chairs face-to-face doing shoot punches against each other until Burke drops Raven. Raven hits Burke with a crucifix powerbomb. Ironic. Raven pulls a Bible from underneath the turnbuckles, lights it on fire, and smacks Burke in the face with it. Elijah Burke gets a nasty, unprotected chair shot, drags Raven down to the corner, lays the chair on him, and then gets a coast-to-coast. Burke spears Raven through the barricade. Raven rips the mat off the floor and superplexes Burke. Raven pulls a bag from underneath the ring. He pours out thumbtacks and the crowd cheers. Burke hits Raven with the belly-to-back suplex onto the tacks. Burke goes for the back for a second. He comes through with a shopping cart, and at the top of the ramp, he sits Raven on the cart and rolls it off the stage onto the floor on the side. Burke pulls out a 2x4 with the end wrapped in barbed wire, while Raven is draped over the second rope. Burke takes a 2x4 and rakes it across his forehead, making his blood drip down his face. Burke rips Raven's shirt and hits him in the back with a fluorescent light. Well, not a shirt, sorry. He hits him in the back with a fluorescent light tube. I don't know why it says something about a shirt. He got no shirt. So Raven pulls a glove out from underneath the ring, and then he rips the barbed wire off the 2x4 and wraps it around his hand. He goes to punch, but Burke ducks and picks him up for a belly-to-back suplex outside the ring. Through a table. Sorry, it's like over the top rope and through a table. Let's see. All right. Raven pulls out another table later in the match, sets it on fire. He picks Burke up, but Burke manages to get a low blowout. He climbs the rope and goes for a diving clothesline, but Raven catches him and does a T-bone suplex to the table. That's on fire. Raven puts the cross in the corner and attempts to start tying Burke, but Burke fights back, grabbing Raven and bashing his head into it until blood continues to pour down his body. Burke hoists a bloodied, groggy Raven against the cross in the corner. He goes to the other corner and hits the Elijah Express onto Raven. He starts to lift his left arm to the beam of the cross, but the camera cuts to the entrance ramp as Father James Mitchell is on the stage. He points to the ring, and the gatherers come out. And Elijah is able to hold them off at first, but the numbers become too much. They hit deliverance on Elijah and untie Raven's arm. Raven hits 2 Raven effects onto a chair and then ties an unconscious Burke onto the cross. The gatherers put the crown of thorns on Burke and whip him with the cat of nine tails as Raven poses in the ring while Snoop Dogg is yelling, "This is the type of shit that puts us out of a job." The camera cuts to Jericho doing a backstage interview very quickly as they want to get this shit off TV because they're scared they're going to lose all their money as they get the situation in the ring under control.
Okay.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
You can. Go for
I
it.
don't. Travis, go first.
I don't even know what to think about this to go first.
Have you ever heard of something so bad you wish you didn't hear it?
Yeah,
That was
Sting
this.
versus Sting.
No, that was a good story. This is
This
a
has
straight,
some fire ass
no,
promos.
this is a straight one. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. This is a one.
Can you explain your
Um,
reasoning, please?
It was garbage.
What was wrong with it?
Everything. I didn't like any of it.
Okay,
I
so
I also didn't like that you had Travis and Mike.
Okay,
And-
that
he
wasn't
didn't say
y'all.
it was
That,
you guys. Their names
Yeah.
just happened to be Travis and Mike.
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
Good, close enough.
Travis, do you want to
Because
go?
you be committing that fraud like right now.
I hated it. This was terrible.
Yeah, also the tax evasion thing. Fuck you.
You evaded some taxes on that last show.
Well, you're gonna get all of them now. So I don't hate it as much as Mike. I see what you were trying to do. You got a little too into it for me. You went too far left. It had potential. I really thought I really wanted to like it, but then I just never did. I'll give you 1.5. I'll give you 50 cents because I felt the potential.
Okay,
I see what you're going for.
So I just have a question. So do you not have security? Because why is Raven just out here choking people?
I mean,
get your security
we've
out
seen
here.
that he has supernatural powers if he can like manipulate all the shit he's doing though, and the company can't get him under control. There's supernatural things at play with Raven.
I think you went too hard on the religious stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the cat of nine tails, the gnawing of teeth. Like you just had too much religious stuff in there. Also, like I know his name is the Pope, but I don't think of the Pope as like
Yeah. I wanted to
It's
give
an
it that
actual pope.
spin. Yeah. I wanted to give it that spin because I felt like it was interesting, and like that's why Raven brings that up too. Like you're not what you are trying to be right now. You're just like me. Like what are you talking about?
I
Raven
enjoy
brings
that.
up.
I will give you baptized on the Tuesday is a bar. I will give you that.
It is. I feel like every one of your storylines so far has had at least one bar in it. So
Right.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Give me some
My
promo
other
cash.
question would be: so the company hates all of this, right?
Yes.
Then
So
why
why do
the
they pay
fuck
for
did they
Kanye?
allow it?
What are they gonna fucking do about it?
And then why did they allow for Kanye, like the rights for Kanye's music? Why did they put it on the show? They didn't have to let it on the show.
Wrestling
Yeah.
logic.
Don't get on us for the music. You had Cher in your halftime show at one point, didn't
This-
you?
Okay, that's something you're going to have to leave up to wrestling logic,
I
though,
did- I did
because
have
like sometimes like there is things that like the Ministry of Darkness. Why did they fucking let them exist when they were fucking
Oh.
sacrificing Stephanie McMahon? You know what I
Well,
mean? Like,
technically, Vince was the reason because
yeah, but that
It
was
was-
fucking
it
worse.
was
it was
all
him,
along.
Austin. It was him.
That's
all
fucking
along.
worse. Like that's worse. But you see what I mean? Like sometimes it's beyond the company's control, and other things like the theatrics are left to wrestling logic because it's a TV show at the end of the day and it's fiction.
I'll give you that. I just don't think it'd be that great of a match. I don't like went too hard. You know how I went too hard on the OJ jokes? Like you went too hard on the religious stuff here.
Them promos were bars, though. At least give me my respect for them promos. Come on.
I'm gonna split the difference and give you a 1.25.
Oh, god damn.
I just don't like you went too hard on the religious stuff. It also doesn't seem like it's that extreme to just put someone on a cross. the,
I mean, you're literally crucified. Like, come on.
yeah, but you're just kind of tying their wrists to a board.
Well, the
It's
actual
like we
match
had
was,
a
the actual
street-
match was hardcore though. They used light tubes, they had flaming
Well,
tables,
yeah,
there's a glass
but,
table
like-
spot, like all kind of
But,
shit. in there.
but the end of it ends up just being here. Put them on a table.
I
Essentially.
mean,
And then they fucking
no
whipped
hardcore has to
him.
be in a pin. Like
They
you gonna do
fucking
that?
whipped him. Like,
yeah,
I still hated
yeah,
all of it.
I didn't.
man, I did not
God.
predict that because those were some of the best promos I wrote in my fucking life,
That was
and
a good part.
I'm
You had
salted.
you had
The
a- you had a
promos
good
may have
part.
been what got you up to a 1.
Y'all gotta
Right.
put some respect to my promos. That match was all
Yeah,
good.
I was
Come on.
teetering at a 0.25, but I was
I
like, "There's no way I could be that mean."
I just don't like. You just went too hard on the religious thing. Like, in the match concept is wonky, and I feel like there's some holes in there. I'm just filling with wrestling logic. Which
John, I'm
I
about to have
don't
you read
like.
the
If
spots,
this was
though.
on my
What's
TV,
up?
For this
I
next one, you have to read the spots. Like for some reason, it's not letting me see the spots for the next
Oh,
one.
all right. So you want to take the build now? I'll do this.
Yeah, we'll just do that.
Okay.
But go ahead, fish. Y'all saying I just had to tell them that real quick.
oh, I don't remember. So
That shit hurt because I thought that
I
was
would-
gonna be like our magnum opus because I was really proud of those promos and damn, that shit hurted.
What did Damone give it? I had to
He
go.
gave it a 1.25. That
I
shit
just-
hurted.
I would say the 0.25 is the potential that it had. I just think.
That was the 50 cents for me.
Yeah. Also, I didn't like that you had the interference.
the potential would
I didn't like
for
the
me is a
interference.
50 cents. It's
I
what got
just-
it up.
I didn't like the interference. I didn't like the interference, especially since you just had those guys lose. I think if
Well, they
you-
got to go find something else to do now.
if they didn't lose in like 2 matches ago, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But the fact that they just lost 2 matches ago, so I don't see them as that badass.
Well, that's why they need help. That's why they need Raven now.
I will say this, John and Kenny. I'm feeling you guys took the fire out from underneath me just now because I was feeling a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, I might lose this week. But this match definitely dropped you down under my average, so we're good.
Well, let's see
they're
if you
putting,
can-
they're putting
let's
on
see
a
if
good
you-
show.
Let's see if you can recover it.
Let's
right.
see this main event.
That was the one that was like because I knew the show like I felt like everyone was either hit or miss. I was like, and I knew this was gonna be the one. I was like, they either gonna love it.
I
or
really,
hate it.
yeah, I thought that the promos were really going to hit harder and they affect more than
I
they
think
did.
the promos would have been. I think if you didn't do a crucifix match,
Yeah, I
you
was just
did,
trying to
like-
push it and trying to get something that's really offensive, I guess.
It wasn't offensive as much as it was boring.
No, it was offensive.
It was offensive. and
No
I
one
wasn't-
burned a Bible and whipped
don't-
somebody.
I don't
Like,
Here's the thing.
That's
I
the
don't care
thing.
about the
Is I
offensive
should
part.
like that stuff, and I didn't.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I am an agnostic atheist. I don't believe in God, and I believe there could be a God. And I was extremely uncomfortable with this.
well, at least we
That's
pulled off what we were
something
going
you-
for. We didn't get rewarded for it. We pulled off what we were going
You
for.
probably
God damn it.
would. Honestly,
You
you
got
probably
canceled.
would. You probably would get like canceled off TV.
Yeah, we're trying to go
Yeah.
for like, you know what he did in the '90s, but to a way further extent. But let's move
Yeah, you
forward.
probably lose you're losing sponsorships.
I mean,
No more dominoes for you.
I like the Bible burning, but other than that,
Can you give me
I
another
hated
quarter for that?
That was my least favorite spot.
you got up to $1. You
Can I get another quarter?
enough.
Kenny, I'm
generosity.
surprised you. I'm surprised you participated in this.
I didn't put that spot in there. I was like,
Okay, no. Hold up, Kenny. You had him just smacking him with a regular Bible, and I was like,
that was gonna be it.
Wait,
That
wait,
was
wait.
the Bible burning.
Wait,
but that doesn't hurt. So I put it on fire so it actually fucking
It was
hurt.
just
John. Here's my question. What version of the Bible was it?
King James.
All right, then.
Whichever one
then
you
I'll
like.
give you. Then I'm gonna give
Whichever one
you.
you like.
I'm gonna give you 10 cents. So you got
Let's
one.
fucking go.
Why?
Whichever one your favorite one
Because
is.
that
that's
has
what
the
we
best
use.
version of Revelations.
Let's fucking go.
All
Do
right.
my coins.
Damone, I listened to the Revelations
That's what I figured
episode
when you said
of last podcast.
So I'm going to read the build. He's going to read the spots for this one. Like for some reason, my spots is not showing up on my thing. But after the controversial finish at In Your House, everyone in the match other than
you didn't say
Kendrick.
the match. Or are you
Oh
gonna?
no,
wait
always do at the end.
Okay. I was like, what?
After the controversial finish at In Your House, everyone in the match other than Kendrick is in a rough place. AJ wants his title back and will use this rematch clause, but is preoccupied with CM Punk. Angle and Jericho feel like they got a raw deal, and now they have no guarantee at a title shot.
Hold on. It's not like you said anal and Jericho and they said raw deal, and that's just comedy.
Oh no. Angle.
Kurt Angle.
Kurt
Angle.
Kurt Angle got a raw deal.
This isn't when he beefing with what's his name?
Rey Mysterio. I'm a boy that likes to play with men.
It's better than the slip up Travis had.
Oh yeah.
I said, nah, you're good.
He said, nigga. No, but Angle and Jericho, Angle.
Now you sound like
had to turn into a fucking pelican real quick. Angle and Jericho.
You turned into a good woman.
that's you sitting on that bed the way you are right now.
hey, I'm saying straight up. I'm saying straight up. Fuck you.
We don't know. We can't see you.
Out here chilling with no makeup on.
Camera off on purpose.
Chilling with no makeup on. All right, so Angle and Jericho feel like they got a raw deal, and now they have no guarantee at a title shot. Shawn Michaels was hurt badly early into the match and hasn't been heard from since. Kendrick was very vocal about his previous opponents between In Your House and Cyber Sunday. He says Jericho was given a spot in the scramble out of charity in the first place and was shown why he has no place in the main event. He says maybe Angle needs to break his neck again because that's the last time he's done anything remotely impressive. AJ Styles, as Shawn would say, I got 2 words for you, transitional champion. You were able to make Shawn spiral out of my way long enough for the new face of wrestling, the Brian Kendrick, to show everyone how great he is always has been. AJ comes out and Kendrick shuts down his interest and mocks him, saying, No. Don't worry about little old the Brian Kendrick. Go chase the money match. Go chase the big name. Fulfill your ego. You'll be doing it without my title because I'm laser focused. Kendrick music plays as him and Lee walk past AJ on the stage before he can get a word in. Kendrick has those kind of promos every week until Cyber Sunday, where AJ's conflict with Punk, who was voted guest referee, gives him an opportunity to retain the title. Kendrick comes out on turmoil after Cyber Sunday and raises up the title, saying, I just want all my adoring fans to know that the Brian Kendrick cares about this title. Your previous champion did not. I am better than your previous champion. This title shows you that I am better than the entire roster of CBW. I pinned AJ Styles. I made AJ Styles tap as he says this. Kurt Angle's music hits, and Kurt says he has to correct him and that he made AJ tap and he made Kendrick tap. He says he is the rightful world champion. If it had been called correctly, AJ wouldn't be ignoring the title for CM Punk. You devalue that title because a title cannot make a wrestler. You are proof of that. Kendrick responds saying, AJ beat you one-on-one, dipshit. If they haven't given you my title, AJ would have been at home taking painkillers like you and Shawn had for the past month. Jericho comes out as Angle drops the mic and walks towards the ring. He says that AJ would have escaped the ankle lock in seconds had he not applied one of his 1,000 holds. I haven't lost to AJ one-on-one. I don't need the entire roster to interfere. I am the rightful champion. Kendrick says, I beat you months ago. Neither one of you are worth my time. Can I get an actual opponent to come out here? This feels like satire at this point. They both walk towards the ring and brawl with Kendrick and Lee. Knoxville says he smells a match. Jericho and Angle will face Kendrick and Lee. If Jericho and Angle win, they face Kendrick in a triple threat, and then Kendrick picks the stipulation. If Kendrick and Lee win, Kendrick picks one of them to face, and they pick the stipulation. During the match, Kendrick gets shoved into Lee. Kendrick screams at Lee until Angle hits an angle slam and pins him. Lee doesn't break it. Kendrick, angry as hell, gets on the mic and says, I want to embarrass you, sons of bitches. I'm going to make you tap again in a submission match. Keith, get to our dressing room this instant. The next week, Kendrick has Godfrey in his dressing room to interview him about his upcoming match. Godfrey asked him what his confidence level is wrestling at the main event level in the stipulation that doesn't favor him. Kendrick is offended by this and says, listen, you fucking idiot. I've always wrestled at a main event level. I've just never had anyone behind me. Now I do. I could always hang with the top guys, but every company was set on the same old shit. Brock Lesnar, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels, AJ Styles, top guys who fell to me. How dare these fans boo me? I'm everything they say they want. I made AJ tap it In Your House. I pinned him at Cyber Sunday. I will make either one of those hacks tap at Asylum and show that I deserve to be here. He shoves Godfrey into a locker and walks away. Jericho does an episode of Highlight Reel that night with a surprise guest. He says that there's someone who owes some answers to everyone. He calls Keith Lee out. He doesn't come out. He says, well, I figured he doesn't give the answer, so I've done an investigation and found some myself. Back in June, a month before Heatwave, Keith Lee resigned with the company soon after he had his big match with Brock, and the rest is history. Of course, that entails a meeting with Donald Trump. However, if you look at the security camera footage on the Geratron 3000, there's a third car in the parking lot that day and a third ass clown walking out that door. Longtime Trump favorite, the Brian Kendrick. Lee and Kendrick storm the ring and beat down Jericho. Angle saves the day and clears the ring as Jericho is yelling at them. Angle hits an angle slam and locks in an ankle lock while staring a hole through Kendrick. It is announced on Twitter that the final show before Asylum will end with the debate between the champion and his two challengers, moderated by Mr. Kennedy. The debate starts off with the question of who made AJ tap. Each reiterates their case with selected footage. The next question is to explain why their life signature submission is the deadliest.
Why their signature submission? I don't know why it says life.
Kennedy says the next question is for the champion. Why were you present for Keith Lee's contract negotiations? Kendrick refuses the question and says he should beat the shit out of Kennedy for asking. He asks Angle for his thoughts, and he says that he doesn't care about this ridiculous petty drama. He came here because he thought this was a wrestling company, and he's the best wrestler. He showed it at the Olympics and every company he's worked for, including CBW, when he made AJ tap. Jericho interrupts and asks, did Keith Lee need more money or just want it? Keith dodges the question and says he deserves it.
Kendrick dodges. Sorry, I gotta catch you there.
Oh, my fault. Kendrick dodges the question and says he deserves it. Jericho then yells, why did he sell 2 of his cars? Kendrick goes silent. Jericho says he asked every dirt sheet for details for Lee's contract and they found nothing. Fortunately, our bosses are fighting and Knoxville made me a copy. Kendrick then goes at Jericho. Angle joins in and so does Lee. Keith tries to split it.
Kennedy.
But I can't read today. Kennedy tries to split it, but Lee tosses him out. Angle and Jericho send Lee over the rope. Angle gets Kendrick in an ankle lock, but Jericho code breakers Angle. Jericho standing tall, holding up Lee's contract. He goes over the camera saying to watch his Twitter tonight and read it for yourselves. Midway through the show, Lee is shown recuperating from the brutal Elimination Chamber match.
And this is midway through. Sorry, just because I didn't get the time skip. This is midway through this show now. There's a little vignette here.
Kendrick says, you understand the plan and will be at the right time and place, correct? Keith says he can't make it tonight. He's got nothing left in the tank. Before the match, the tweet is shown and the contract gives Lee a $500,000 bonus if Kendrick becomes champion and $1 million bonus if he stays champion for 6 months. And then
so yeah, he was saying that because after the Elimination Chamber, Kendrick was like, you remember the time and place for the plan? And then Lee was like, I got nothing left in me. All right. So the match starts with Jericho and Angle feeling each other out. Kendrick breaks it up with a cheap shot at Jericho. Kendrick and Jericho both hit an enziguri on Angle. Kendrick whips Angle. And Angle does a double lariat onto both Jericho and Kendrick. Jericho does a running monkey flip to Kendrick in the corner. In the air, Kendrick does a hurricane rod at an Angle. Kendrick goes for a double bulldog on them, but they both lift him in the air and toss him out of the ring. Jericho and Kendrick are outside of the ring doing a punch exchange, and Kurt hits a top rope con hilo to them both. Jericho goes for a German suplex on Kendrick, but Angle gets behind Jericho and lifts them both up for a double German suplex. Jericho does a running springboard drop kick to Angle on the turnbuckle. Kendrick has them both in a cutter position and does a sliced bread number 2 on them both. Jericho has them both in a single leg crab at the same time, and the crowd goes wild. He does his walls of Jericho to both, but they both use their legs to flip Jericho over. Jericho then hits back-to-back code breakers on them both. Kendrick does a running shooting star press off the apron to Jericho laying on the outside. Kurt puts Kendrick's leg in a chair and continuously stomps on it. Angle hits a diving moonsault to Kendrick. Jericho goes for a suplex off the apron, but Kendrick reverses it to a DDT. So he gets suplexed, but he reverses it into a DDT off the apron to Jericho. Angle hits a diving moonsault to Kendrick's head, and Jericho does a lionsault to his legs at the same time. Angle pulls the straps down and gets hype and hits both Jericho and Kendrick with Angle slams. Angle pulls the straps back up and does an ankle lock to Kendrick. Kendrick is in pain, screaming, and then Kendrick slowly starts to get a roll. He rolls away and sends Angle towards Jericho, but Angle maneuvers it into a spear onto Jericho. When Angle turns around, Kendrick does the bully slam, the reverse slam into the captain's hook, and Kurt is trying to reach to find a rope, but there's nothing in sight. And eventually, Kurt is forced to tap out, and the Brian Kendrick retains his championship.
So he tapped out Kurt with a captain's hook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
You can.
I got some notes. I got
Go
some
ahead.
notes.
Go for it.
All right. I hated the debate.
I agree.
I don't understand the contract thing, but I'm just gonna chalk that up to me just not understanding. I'm not gonna dock you for it.
I can explain that if you. I'll just let you not dog me. Actually, I'll just shut up.
You gotta say if you explain it is dumb. You get your points taken.
I got the contract thing. What you were going for?
What was the next part of my thing? I think Jericho should have been the one to lose. I also, to be honest, don't think that this match should have happened. I think it would have been a better, to me, and you guys obviously all can disagree or whatever. I'm giving you the same situation I would give WWE or AEW or whoever. During the build, when you did the tag team match, what I think should have happened was Lee and Kendrick versus Jericho and Angle. If Angle and Jericho wins, it's a triple threat match, and you can do the same stipulation, right? The same way that you said before. If they lose, neither one of them gets to challenge for the title. And I say you have them lose, and then you have Brock Lesnar return. You pay off the story from the beginning. Do Lesnar versus Kendrick. Either A, have babyface Lesnar go over, or B, have Kendrick become even more of a dominant, even though he's going to be a heel. So I'm assuming Keith Lee's going to help him win. But I think that's a more compelling story, a more compelling match.
Stay tuned. We got plans for everybody.
Okay. I just didn't care for this. I think you could have got the surprise pop with Brock Lesnar here. I don't know. It just feels like outside of Brian Kendrick, it feels like just.
So can I explain the rationale for the rationale for the match happening a little bit more clearly?
Sure.
Because there was such a controversial finish in the scramble, it was unclear who really made AJ Styles tap. They all had their finishers locked in, so that was baked in controversy. AJ
restarted the match.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have had to have been restarted. It was restarted on some Trump bullshit. So, in all actuality, who actually should have been champion in the actual time limit? So that was their claim in the first place. And then Kendrick was embarrassed to have lost the match. So he says, fuck it, I'll make y'all tap. I will show that I should have won. And that was why he picked the submission match.
Yeah, that didn't help much, to be honest with you. I'm going to give you a 3. I think it was fine. It was be a fire match, but I just wasn't invested.
Okay, so I don't like that you made, because I do understand the contract part. So pretty much Keith Lee is only helping Brian Kendrick because he contractually, to get extra money, he has to.
And there was a hint at some financial desperation there from Jericho, though, if you listen to that.
I don't like that you made Keith Lee an indentured servant.
Yeah. Sorry. I got it. Yep. That's gonna drop at least 50 cents.
Yeah,
50 cents? Do a quarter. Come on, be reasonable.
I am being reasonable. In 2021, the year of black excellence, we're not having slaves.
I was not even thinking about that when I read through it. I didn't think it was a slave.
It's like a hired gun situation. He's bigger than him. He's bigger than him. He needed help.
But he's a hired gun who is can't go anywhere else.
No, it doesn't say he has to. It says that he gets a bonus if he does these things. He is not obligated.
I liked it better when I thought they were teammates because they thought they could be a dominant team.
Yeah,
I liked it when we thought they were going to be a tag team.
Right. Yeah, I definitely wish they would have been a tag team and Kendrick not.
Yeah, I wish you left all that contract stuff out. I liked it better when it was just Keith Lee like got convinced to do all this stuff because Brian Kendrick like talked some sense into him because he should be dominant and he wasn't, and he's helping Kendrick because of that. I liked it better when it was that and not he's doing it for the money, because I'm pretty sure now you're gonna have Keith Lee turn face. I kind of feel like you kind of have to have Keith Lee turn face now. And
well, now you said it, he's not going to do it.
Right.
You don't know that. You don't know what I'm going to do. Don't try to predict me. You can't predict me.
I also think that I do agree with Travis on the stipulations thing, because literally with the stipulations, if they win, obviously they get the triple threat. But if they lose, one of them's still getting a title shot. So there's not that high of a stake in it. Like, they're still getting a title shot. It's just the stipulation.
One of them is. So, of course, they're going to try to work together well because they both fucking want it, and they don't want to be left up to the whims of Kendrick.
Right, but then it should have been, and his whole thing was, I don't want to face either of them. So it should have been, if he wins, his team wins, they don't have to face, he doesn't
But
have
he
to
didn't
face
make that stipulation. Knoxville did.
It just feels convoluted.
Because Knoxville wanted it to be kind of fair to both sides and not just...
It would be. If they win, they get their match. If they lose, they don't get shit. That's fair. Don't lose.
Yeah, but Knoxville's going to favor the baby faces, though.
That's way too over benefiting the baby faces. And your main event picture is as fuzzy as ours, by the way.
My last one got like a top 2 match in this whole Bookitverse.
No, I mean like your title picture, like your whole title.
The moving parts.
The moving parts is just as moving.
I had a flow chart. Where's yours?
You don't
have a flow chart right now, do you?
I can go get it. It's in the other room. Same
not
people.
Not for this match.
Same people.
Can we get a Lil Fudge get the flow chart shirt?
Also, I don't like that you did use the same people essentially for, like, I know that it's a different match, but you did use the same people. Also, I feel like this is Asylum. You should have had it end in some sort of like cage match.
I can't hang 2 structures though.
Right. You should have.
Also,
it's
you can't
Bookitverse.
use
You
the
do whatever
cage.
the fuck you want.
Yeah, but y'all would have been like, how'd you hang 2 structures? Like,
I would have even been fine if you just relowered the chamber.
the chamber for triple threat. Y'all would have cooked me for that. You know it. Don't be honest.
I would have been.
I thought we were
Because
getting another chamber match, but you did 6
Yeah, I
people
thought we
last
were
time.
Right.
Or 5 people.
It would have been cool.
Right.
I didn't want to do 3 of it. I thought that would have been too much.
I think 3 is the one that is the perfect number, to be honest with you. But
Yeah, I think
I thought
3
2
is
was the
like-
perfect number. I thought 3
2's
would have
the
been too much.
perfect number. 3's not too bad.
I think
Past
with
that,
it,
you're going too much.
with it being the pay-per-view it should have ended with Elimination Chamber.
Yep.
Yeah.
The women's
Yeah.
match didn't need to be an elimination chamber. You could have done a singles match there, and then this is an elimination.
Or you
chamber.
could have done that as like a triple threat or something.
Well,
But then there's even more moving parts.
Yeah, there's
here.
no like.
You
there's
didn't even
no,
have to do the first match as Elimination Chamber. You could have also done
But those
this
don't have a
one.
clear. Like, this title has clear people in it and clear conflict over it, while those other divisions have like a lot of open space, and that's why there was the chambers.
You
Because
could have just had Keith Lee be dominant. He earns a title shot. He faces who was your previous champion?
RVD.
Before RVD. He faces RVD. You could have just done that. Heel, RVD's a face. You could have
Alright.
just done that. But for this, I'm going to give you a 3.75.
I respect that.
I know I've said some stuff already. I just really don't think
Brian Kendrick.
Brian Kendrick is main title worthy at all. I would have 1,000% preferred to see Brian Kendrick and Keith Lee in a heel tag team against the Rude Ones.
That would have been dope.
And that's what I felt
The guy
like he
you
was
were
going
fine.
to.
I see
and then
main
all of a
event in
sudden,
Brian Kendrick. I see main event in that man.
well, I don't, and I'm watching it. So
But then again, that was the storyline for this. The fact that
Hey,
the common
Keith gave
fan
it a
doesn't
5.
see him as a top guy, and he said, "I'm trying to prove I am with the top guy."
right, but I even said the last time that I again would have preferred them as a tag team. I've been saying that all the way through, and that's
I just
going
want to do
back to the
something different
first
with my main
pay-per-view.
event.
I thought that's what was going to happen. So I get that he's the champion now, but I don't like it.
I just wanted to push somebody different.
I would
I don't want to
literally
do the same
turn
old
it
shit.
on. I'd be like, all right, who's the champion? Brian Kendrick. I'm gonna go watch something else.
So you
I'm
just
gonna
want to
have-
see the same main event.
You would
top guy.
have gone to get.
I want to watch. I want to see a main event
Hey.
that I can actually believe. You have the players, you're just not using them.
So I didn't want to push the same people as everybody else. I'm doing something different. Not doing the same old
have
shit.
a roster of like 50 people.
But then again, when we push certain people, like how we had CM Punk, we got taxed for it. Like because we put him
Well,
in, we put him main event before.
I think he's saying that he doesn't see the Brian Kendrick.
I don't see
No,
the
I
Brian.
understand that, but I'm saying
He
but
was
we're
in a
pushing other
WWE
people.
title match.
Okay,
and
well,
told me
it's
well.
not Brian Kendrick or CM Punk. You have a roster of 50 people.
And
I
I
understand
chose
that, but I'm
him.
saying it's one of those things where, in my opinion, it'd be a double-edged sword because if we push main event talent, because CM Punk is considered main event talent, do we get docked for it? But now we're pushing somebody.
No.
Whether
You
it's
get
Shawn
docked- you get
Michaels
docked
or
for
RVD
constantly
or Kurt
using
Angle, it's the
CM
same
Punk.
old shit.
That
We
being
did
said,
something original.
I actually probably would have I would have liked Kurt Angle.
He's already been
Honestly,
world champion
if you
10
were gonna
times.
go the way you were going and have Brian Kendrick and Keith Lee I would have switched them. I would have had Keith Lee being that, since he's been that dominant heel, that monster you've been talking about. He probably would have been better in this position rather than Brian Kendrick.
Kendrick's
I
doing
don't
great.
find Brian Kendrick believable. I'm not watching, like, honestly, like, if Brian Kendrick was the champion, I would have turned it off before this match.
That's
like,
your
all right,
loss
I got work in the morning.
because he's great at everything he does, and he deserves this. And
I'm not saying all that, but I'm saying the fact that I'm just saying the fact that
I'm
with,
pushing
like,
somebody different. I'm not doing the same old
Yeah,
Brock Lesnar versus Stone Cold. Like, I'm not doing the
Never
same old
happened.
shit.
That never happened.
It's same old shit, same people, same. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not pushing the
No.
same main event talent.
Right.
And you know
but
what?
to be fair, we're
Vince didn't
pushing
think Taz should be a main event.
They're main event talent for a reason.
Taz is
I
better
understand
than
that, but the
Brian
thing is,
Kendrick.
like, with
I'm
this,
not doing the
with
same old shit. This is fantasy booking.
This is about to say this is Bookitverse where we can push who we want, and I feel like with
Right,
this,
that's
like,
fine.
as long as
Push
the
'em.
story's right, I feel like then that should be fair,
All right.
and not because of who it is.
But that's fine. Push him. Well, that's fine. Push him. But I'm not gonna like it.
I hear you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I think it's a
You can
stupid
push
thing.
him. I personally don't like. If I was
And-
watching, I'm just telling you. If I was watching, I wouldn't.
This
I
don't
wouldn't
sound like the
really.
Mike I
But
know.
if you
This
don't-
sounds
but if
like
you don't know
Travis.
that-
You
if you don't
sounded like
know Brian
Travis.
Kendrick like that, though, then
I
like,
don't like. I simply don't think Brian Kendrick. I think with everything going on, Brian
What's he-
Kendrick isn't the right choice.
What's he
for
bad
this.
at? What's he not as good at?
No, I'm not saying the bad part. I'm just saying the fact that if you're watching TV and you're seeing this is what is presented to you, you're not going to be like, oh, he doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be like that because you're used to him being in a certain position. You know what I'm saying? But if we're pushing him a certain way,
For 9 months, he's been on top of the
then it's
company,
different.
basically.
But we've never
Yeah,
seen
I
him in this
don't-
position. So I feel like that's, in my opinion, that's
We've
not
seen
fair.
him close in real life, though. We've seen him as like an upper tier player. It was a short-lived period, but we've seen it happen, and it worked, and
I
it got
don't like
over.
I don't completely agree with you. Like, I get your idea, and I don't completely agree with.
I don't
I
disagree
agree with
with-
both of you. I agree with Mike. I think the Brian Kendrick and that gimmick can be a world champion. But I do get what Mike is saying. You had other people you could have used. It's not like it's the Brian Kendrick, or it has to be like an already made main eventer. You guys have plenty of people you could have pushed into that scene.
I mean,
just-
we do, and like I said, I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like, presenting him as a chicken shit heel with a bodyguard, I think it works for this. Like, for this, like, he's just, you know what I'm saying, bullshitting his way through it.
No,
And he's got the promo ability to do everything we're making him do. He's a good enough promo to do that. He's a good enough wrestler to hang with these people. He has a wrestling school. He was trained by Shawn Michaels. Like,
but I
he's
would
good
also,
enough in the ring and at promos to be in this spot.
But
Oh, did you
but-
know
It's not
he also
Shannon
used
Moore,
to,
where
did
it's
you
not
know he
Shannon
used
Moore
to
where he can't cut a promo. You know what I mean? Like,
did you know he used to drive TJ what's TJP
TJP.
to wrestling school?
Yeah.
And did you know Britt Baker is a dentist?
But you get what I mean, though. It's
do-
like Shannon Moore, you can't put in this position because, like, he is low on the card because he can't cut a promo and he's not, you know, he's good in the ring. He's not amazing. He's not a great promo, though. Brian Kendrick is a good promo.
Here's what I'm saying though. For this, I'm saying it's for everybody. Like for no matter who it is, no matter who we're putting in the thing. In my opinion, this is how I'm thinking of it. This is just the base character. You're just taking this person, and you're making them how you want to make them. So I feel like, in my opinion, that's not fair.
Yeah,
if it's like, oh,
it's ability based.
He can't do this. He can't talk.
Yeah,
because we're talking for them. We're giving them the script. We're giving them the moveset. Like, you know, so we're doing all that shit for them.
I understand that.
I think about it based on abilities in my sense, because Kendrick has the ability to do those things. Like if he was like, let's say like, I don't know, I'll start with a guy I hate, fucking Brock. Like we can't just write this fire ass promo and pretend he cut that shit perfectly because we know he's not fucking gonna.
You two just contradicted.
No.
I'm saying something different. I'm disagreeing on that front. I'm disagreeing on that front because Kendrick has the ability to do it. He can wrestle. He can cut a promo.
All right. I'm reeling this in because y'all are gonna argue about this for another 30 minutes, and I ain't got time for that. So,
right.
Mike, rate their match.
I'm just gonna give you. I'm gonna just give you a straight 3.
What did Damone give it again?
3.75.
3.75.
Okay. I will say this just because I didn't really say much at all in that entire little war of the words there. My problems were all Chris Jericho and Kurt Angle related, not Brian Kendrick related. Aside from the slavery.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with Travis on that. I like the Brian Kendrick.
I think I love that you got extra coin from me for making him the champion last pay-per-view.
I think I did too, because I do like the idea of pushing guys who aren't. Like,
I have no problem with pushing guys. I think
I get Mike's just saying he thinks you pushed the wrong guy.
I think
you pushed the wrong guy. Yes.
I feel like
I just don't see what he's bad enough at to say that because he's got the ability.
And again, I also go back to with the stories. I still personally think that I would have been more hyped for that tag team than the Bodyguard and.
Well, that's not what we got.
Well, now they're a world champion.
I understand that. This is what we got, and I'm going off of what we got and how I feel about what we got, and I don't like it.
If they can get singles belts or tag belts, which they're going to go for. They're going to go for the singles belts because they want them. They can do it clearly.
And then you're sitting there telling me that Keith Lee doesn't even want to be doing this.
Hey,
he's contractually obligated.
He's not obligated. He just wants $500,000, and he wants $1 million. Who wouldn't do shit for $1 million? I would eat shit off the ground for $1 million. I would eat shit off the ground. I would go eat George's shit right now for $1 million. I would eat shit. All Keith Lee
and that's why
has
they
to
call him Lil Fudge.
And all Keith Lee has to do is be 300 pounds and beat the fuck out of people smaller than him. Duh, you're gonna do that.
Well,
of course. It's easy.
To be fair, you made it seem like he had to because you said he sold his car. You pretty much said he was poor. So if he wants to,
take the impoverished.
Right.
You made the impoverished black man a slave.
Yes. He's not a slave. He's doing it for $1 million. He's gonna be rich after he does it.
He was just saying his background. That's not a slave. He's just like, look, man,
I want $1 million.
I need that money.
Give me a fucking title. You would do it. I would do it. I would do way worse things for $1 million.
Hey, this is completely off.
I would take any dick for $1 million. So I would do anything.
Chill out.
I don't care.
Chill out. I just realized. That both Mike and John both look like Spike Dudley at different parts of the country.
Mike's that heel Spike Dudley, and I'm ECW Spike Dudley.
I like the Mike version more. I like that version more.
All right, so everybody's ready to this then, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
all right. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna close up shop. We're gonna get plugs. Let's start with Fudge.
T13media.com. Go buy a Lil Fudge t-shirt, certified L, which we took on our extreme match, unfortunately. That's it.
All right, my internet's starting to cut out. All right, Kenny.
Look like I'm disappearing on here.
I know.
I was saying, look like I think
you look like that Death Grips music video right now.
You look like Doug giving you the quail eye.
Check me out on the Bad Guy Spoken on every social media. Check out the Bad Guy Spoken podcast on YouTube. And yeah, that's about it. Get you some merch on T13 Media. Get you some merch. Get you some of that merch. Yeah.
Buy that shit. What's up, Globo Jim?
This is a great. I don't know who put this here. I'm assuming it was Kenny.
It was me.
But follow me on all social media at I am Travy T. It's IAMTRAVVYT on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. And buy a Travy t-shirt at t13media.com/store. Since everybody else is going to promote it, I will too.
Simone.
I be tweeting and TikToking at Damoney T13. So DAMONEY, the letter T, the number 1, the number 3. Follow me on both those things, and also fuck Peacock.
I've been saying it. Call it the cock. Fuck that shit.
Fuck the cock.
Only pay the $5. Don't give them 10.
Hashtag
I'm
fuck
still
the
paying the
cock.
10 because I'm not even watching WWE on it at this point. I'm watching The Office, Parks and Rec, and other sitcoms.
Hashtag fuck
man.
the cock.
You can find me on TikTok, Hi-Fi Mike. Find me on Twitter, Hi-Fi_Mike. You can find all the shows on the T13 Media Network on our website at t13media.com. Buy a shirt. You buy this shirt. You can buy a Hi-Fi Mike shirt. You can buy a D-Money shirt. You can buy a Debatable shirt, a Badguy shirt, a Little Fudge shirt. Or you can buy a Primetime Travy t-shirt, or any of those you can buy in other things like mugs and pillowcases and shit like that. Backpacks. They got backpacks. We got backpacks. So bring us to school with you. All right. To bring us to school with you.
I don't know if I like that phrase.
Yeah, I don't want to be
Man.
brought to any other schools. I get brought to one too many.
He's a teacher, by the way. Just to
Yeah,
specify.
yeah.
For legal
I mean,
purposes.
colleges are schools. So if you're a
Yeah.
college student, bring us your college course with you.
Yeah, because Steve didn't.
All right. That's going to be Book It. See ya.
Bye.